Guys, first of all, let me apologize. We had some technical difficulties, so we're gonna run the stream back. But let me get through the announcements first. So first of all, thank you for joining. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Again, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Also go to dynastamir.com. Please visit dynastamir.com. Tours. Sierra Leone. We're rolling to Sierra Leone November 20th through December 3rd. November 20th through December 3rd, we are rolling to Sierra Leone. Citizenship is available to those who qualify. Again, citizenship is available to those who qualify. Nigeria, we're rolling to Nigeria August 8th through the 17th. Again, August 8th through the 17th, we are rolling to Nigeria. If you're interested in joining us, visit Donfo, DANFO, Donfo, DANFO Africa. Also, people are always asking Dynas, where do you get your shirts from? Where do you get your gear from? Visit ileamir.com. Again, visit ileamir.com and grab some gear. Before we get started, well, we're getting started now, but let me say this. I want to apologize. Once again, I want to apologize to Chicago. Whenever we talk about black on black death, whenever we talk about black on black murder, whenever we talk about, Negroes running wild, we always want to bring up Chicago. But guess what? Chicago has been replaced officially with Atlanta. And what's so shocking, why it's Atlanta is allegedly the black Mecca. I mean, Atlanta is supposed to be the black center of excellence. Atlanta is supposed to set the example for how, when you talk about black excellence, the best black people and example on the planet, it's supposed to be Atlanta. But for some reason, black folks in Atlanta cannot go a day without shooting each other. We can't go a day without killing each other. And it's even affecting the youth. I'm talking about children. Children are now getting murdered almost on a daily basis here in Atlanta. We cannot put the guns down. We can't stop killing each other. We can't stop shooting each other. And now, since real estate in Atlanta is expensive, see, Atlanta was that place where if you wanted to reinvent yourself, hey, if you're in California, if you're in New York, real estate was expensive, you come to Atlanta and find you a piece of cheap real estate, you'll be set. Now Atlanta's expensive. So I have no clue why people are drawn to Atlanta. Like there's really no reason to be drawn to Atlanta anymore. No reason. Outside, okay, some people say it's Black Hollywood. But again, black folks in Atlanta cannot stop killing each other. And guys, I want to play this real quick. This is what I'm talking about right here. Over a sandwich. Over a sandwich. We got black folks killing each other over a sandwich. Again, we got black folks killing each other over a sandwich. Let me play this real quick. Let me pull this up. And this is just so embarrassing. Then we're going to get into the Chaka Zulu situation. All right. Then next, we're going to get into the Chaka Zulu situation. Ludacris's manager. He's fighting for his life currently right now as we speak. He was shot in Buckhead. Now, guys, when you talk about black excellence, when you talk about upscale Atlanta, at one time it was Buckhead. Negroes didn't ruin Buckhead. Negroes didn't ruin Lenox Mall. They shooting up Lenox Mall. Negroes didn't ruin Buckhead. It's safe. Listen, if I would have said this 20 years ago, that you would be better off and safer going to Greenbrier Mall, going to South DeKalb Mall, over Buckhead Mall. I'm sorry, over Lenox Mall. You guys were telling me that I was crazy. But I feel safer at Greenbrier Mall than I do at Lenox Mall. But let me play this real quick. Hold on one second. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. Right here.
A Subway employee is dead and another one is in the hospital this morning, all because a customer thought there was too much mayo on his sandwich. That's what the manager of a Subway on Northside Drive told us just hours ago. Our Molly Oak is following new details in this deadly shooting investigation.
A store owner says his heart is with his employees after a shooting at a Subway on Northside Drive. The owner says one of his employees is dead.
Well-rounded young ladies, really hard workers. Everybody loved them.
The owner says the woman just started a few weeks ago. He says another employee is injured and says one of the employee's sons was inside, witnessing everything.
Where we had a customer that came in that was a little upset about how his sandwich was fixed. Believe it or not, it was over too much mayonnaise on his sandwich.
That's when he says,
all hell broke loose.
He says the man started shooting and the store manager shot back. When police arrived, the owner says they made an arrest, but he's not sure who it was. We're still working to get more information on what happened from police. As for the shooter,
Too much mayonnaise on the Subway sandwich. Guys, listen, I'm not making this up. Too much mayonnaise on the Subway sandwich. I mean, it's not funny, but when I tell you people are getting murked in Atlanta every day and the cover-up job they're doing. See, listen, all black folks in Atlanta care about. And see, this is why it pisses me off whenever we call stuff out like this. And the first thing black people want to bring up is, well, Dynast, what are the solutions? What are the solutions, Dynast? You ain't got the solutions. It's disingenuous. And the reason why I say it's disingenuous, you have Malcolm X, the Nation of Islam, John Henry Clark, Claude Anderson, Amos Wilson, even Ice Cube, who came with solutions, and black folks rejected it. So I'm tired of when I bring this stuff up, stop asking me for solutions. Stop asking me. I'm gonna do another show on that. Stop asking me for the solutions. Stop asking me. Guys, do me a favor. Hit that like button as you come to the chat room. Again, hit that like button as you come to the chat room. Yes, I think they found the killer. But again, guys, stop asking me for the solutions. I stop asking me because you don't want it. We want victimhood and we want excuses. That's what we want. We want victimhood and we want excuses. That's the solution our folks want. And the thing that really killed me about black people, right, here in America, whenever you bring up what's going on in our communities, you always want to deflect to other communities. No other community does this. If you ask the Asian community, hey, you got Asians killing Asians, you will never hear an Asian saying, well, white people do it too. But the white man does it too. I mean, the white man does it too. The white mans do it as well. They kill each other. No other group does that. Indian community. If an Indian kills an Indian, you never hear the Indian say, well, man, the white people do it. You know, the white folks kill each other. Only people that do this are black people in America. In Nigeria, you got Boko Haram, you got these groups running around killing people. You'll never hear a Nigerian say, well, they're killing each other in Cameroon. They're killing each other in Cameroon. You will never hear that. You will never hear that. But we got all types of excuses for what's going on in our communities. And then when it comes to solutions, we don't want the solutions. That's why, listen, I ain't got no solutions. because you guys don't want the solutions. You don't want the solutions. Let's just be real.
The owner says they've seen him before. He's a previous customer, but there haven't been any issues in the past.
It's scary out here. It's scary out here.
Now, the owner says they may close up shop.
Because of what happened tonight, me and my partners, we're actually reevaluating whether or not we're going to continue to do this in this neighborhood anyway.
Saying it's just not worth the risk.
We're expecting more details from police later on this morning.
Sorry about that, you guys. If you know where, if you're familiar with Atlanta, this is right down the street from the Dome, and it's right down the street from that fire jerk chicken, right there. No, I'm. You guys can hear me now, right? Press 1 if you can hear me. I unmuted myself. Press 1 if you can hear me. Press 1 if you can hear me. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. What do you mean? Listen, Ice Cube came to the black community and said, listen, this is exactly what he said. 1 second. Ice Cube came to the black community and said, listen, let's try to leverage our vote. Let's try to see what we can get for our vote. Black people said no. Black people said no. That's what they said. You had all these other people who had solutions, wrote books, got libraries of books. You guys said no. You said no. Al is right on Northside Drive because I get my gas there sometimes. So when I'm on Northside Drive, I need to get some gas. That's the gas station I go to. It's a Subway right next to the gas station. I think the gas station is an Exxon. Right. I think the gas station is an Exxon. I've been to that gas station plenty of times. I've been to that gas station plenty of times. Right? I've been to that gas station plenty of times. I know exactly where it's at. Right down the street from Rosie's Cafe. Right by basically where MLK and Northside Drive, right by the bluff. Exactly, right by the bluff. Bluff's been gentrified. What's killing me, like, even though the so-called gentrification of Atlanta, Negroes are still in the city shooting. Again, Negroes is in the city shooting. Yeah, it's right by the bluff, right where MLK and Northside Drive intersect. It's right there. The gas station is like right up the street from there. But like I said, dude was 36. Listen, what I'm gonna do here in a second, I'm gonna pull up because they said they apprehended him. I mean, I don't know. Avoid, you know what? Was it Chris Rock that said that there's wherever MLK Boulevard is, is in the hood? Is that what Chris Rock said? If you go to MLK Jr. Boulevard anywhere in America is in the hood. Is that what Chris? I think that's what Chris Rock said. I think it was Chris Rock or some comedian. Yeah, but like I said, not enough mayonnaise on the sandwich, and now a life is gone, another life is fighting for the life. And the woman that was killed, her son was at the restaurant. Her son was at the restaurant when she was killed. So her son, young black boy, witnessed his mother get murdered here in the Black Mecca. But all these black folks want to talk about is elect Stacey Abrams. It don't matter how much blood is in the streets, how much people are being murdered. All these black folks care about is electing Stacey Abrams and now Roe versus Wade. If you notice, they are not addressing this crime issue here in Atlanta. Again, if you notice, they are not, they're sweeping this crime issue, this murder issue in Atlanta, they're sweeping this under the rug. They're not bringing it up. Because again, all they care about is electing Stacey Abrams. That's all they care about. Blood in the streets, murder, children getting killed. As long as Stacey Abrams gets elected, that's all these folks care about. Just like you see right now with Roe versus Wade, the overturning of Roe versus Wade. These folks are more upset about the overturning of Roe versus Wade than they are the amount of black children, the amount of black death that's going on in Atlanta. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. That's all. They're more upset about the overturning of Roe versus Wade than they are the black murder, the black death, and the black killing that's going on in Atlanta. Say Stacey Abrams loses. Say Stacey Abrams loses. Say Herschel Walker beats Raphael Warnock. These folks are going to be more upset and outraged and probably hit the streets over Walker beating Warnock, over Stacey Abrams losing, than they are the amount of black death that's taking place here in Atlanta. That's why this whole what are the solutions, Dynast? It's disingenuous. I ain't got no solutions. I ain't got none. I don't have any. I don't have any solutions. I don't have any solutions. I don't have any. Don't ask. Stop asking me. Stop asking me for the solutions. I'm going to call it the problem, but I ain't got no solutions because there's so many people who came before us, who came before me, who have all of the solutions who y'all don't want to listen to or who y'all discredit. So I ain't got no solutions. You obviously don't have any solutions. See, this is what's hypocritical. Whenever you call out the black on black murder in our communities, all of a sudden everybody is now some type of gang outreach, gang intervention specialist. Now all of a sudden everybody, man, what you doing in the hood? Man, you ain't in the streets helping out, helping the youth, speaking to the youth. You ain't doing it. Now all of a sudden you ain't talking to the youth. You ain't doing this. Man, what you doing? Now all of a sudden everybody becomes some type of gang intervention specialist. Now all of a sudden everybody's a gang intervention specialist all of a sudden. Thank you. Nobody's doing it. And it's a very small amount. Thank you, Febo. Now, I remember Negroes asking for solutions back in 2009. It's 2022. The solutions was laid out in as early as the 1940s. They're not serious. They want victimhood, and they want complaining, and they want excuses. That's what they want. They want victimhood and excuses. That's what they want. They want to point the finger at other groups. They want to blame immigrants. They want to blame white supremacy. But damn, you had two sisters get killed. Two sisters get killed over a Subway sandwich. Stacey Abrams ain't bringing nothing. But like I said, all these black folks care about is elected Stacey Abrams. That's all they care about. They don't care about the black on black murder. They don't care about the black on black death. They just care about electing Stacey Abrams. That's all they care about. Here we go. I do outreach, Dynast. It's worse when you're working in the neighborhoods because you see the murders that are swept under the rug and you notice countless children being murdered. That's what I'm saying. It's going on here in Atlanta. It's going, hold on. Let me, 1 second. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Right now, there is another family in our community just trying to make sense of yet another young life cut tragically short because of gun violence.
It's another breaking news story that we're following for you this morning. The victim's family tells us he just turned 15 years old.
Jerry Carnes is joining us this morning from the Clayton County apartment complex where police, Jerry, they are still investigating this shooting.
They are indeed, Aisha, and among the many, many people who were gathered here at the Gardenwood Apartments earlier this morning around the crime scene were the victim's mother and grandmother, too shaken to speak to us on camera, but they told us that the murder victim here was a bright young man with a bright future. We want to show you some video we shot just a short time ago of a tow truck leaving the scene here with a heavily damaged vehicle that is somehow tied to this shooting, to this homicide of this teenager. Family members provided us with a picture of 15-year-old Terrence Denson. They tell us his nickname was Little Rock. He was a rising sophomore at Midtown High School in Atlanta. They tell us family members knew that he was a straight A student, and Uncle told us he had a big smile and a bright outlook. As far as circumstances surrounding his murder, we are still waiting to hear from Clayton County Police. They did not give us any information here on scene. I've reached out to the Clayton County Public Information Officer to see if they can enlighten us in any way as to exactly what happened here and if they have any suspects. If we have any updates, we will bring them to you throughout the morning.
All right, Jerry, I'm sure a lot of those students in that entire community will be touched by this.
Listen, 15 years old. 15 years old. 15. 15 years old. Killed, murdered. 15. When I was growing up, the amount of children, teenagers getting shot, this amount was unheard of when I was growing up. Unheard of. Unheard of. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. This was unheard of back when I was growing up. Unheard of. The amount of children that are being killed, especially here in Atlanta, this was unheard of. Here, I got another one. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. I got another one. Guys, do me a favor. Hit that like button.
Breaking news we are following in Buckhead this morning. We're waiting for an update from police about a deadly shooting in a strip mall parking lot.
Our Christy Diaz has been live at the mall for hours as police continue to investigate. Christy, what is the latest from the scene this morning?
Police cleared out after being here for about 6 hours on scene, trying to piece together exactly what happened. And this is what they've been able to figure out so far. They tell us this one happened, like so many of them do, with an argument that escalated. It happened here in this parking lot behind this strip center. And let me give you an idea of where we are. We're right off of Peachtree Road, in between Peachtree Battle and Benihana's. This is behind a little strip center. You have to drive down and kind of into an alley almost, where there is a parking lot below and behind the shops. And that's where this happened. Police say it was a triple shooting. One person was killed. 2 others are now in the hospital receiving treatment. All they know is that it was an argument over what we don't know. This happened around 11:30 last night. Since then, police have been out here. They have finally cleared out, but in the last 30 minutes, we watched them tow at least 3 cars from the scene. They say there is some footage they plan to look at, and that could give them more information. Right now, there is a suspect at large, no one in custody, but they'll update us when they do. Guys, back to you.
Atlanta police say a person accused of killing a Subway employee is now in jail.
Someone shot and killed a woman who, according to police, put too much mayonnaise on a sandwich. Another worker was also seriously hurt. CBS 46's Tori Cooper has the latest.
The Atlanta Police Department announced they have made an arrest in this double shooting that took place here at the Subway around 6 p.m. last night. And they say it was a community tip that led them to the suspect.
The gun violence here in Atlanta is at an outrage.
That's Gerald Rose, the leader of the New Order National Human Rights Organization.
I'm asking all young people to put down the pistols, pick up the pencils.
Rose spoke out Monday about the ongoing senseless violence happening in Metro Atlanta after Atlanta police say a Subway employee was shot to death over a sandwich.
Believe it or not, it was over too much mayonnaise on his sandwich. And so he decided to escalate the situation.
Willie Glenn is the co-owner of the Subway on Northside Drive. He says to take a life over a sandwich is unfathomable.
I don't know what the world is coming to, especially with our youth. They just seem to be so hot-headed these days. Everybody wants to carry a gun. Everybody wants to scare somebody with a gun. It's just, it's scary out here.
He says the customer shot 2 of his employees. One of them died and the other is now in the hospital. He says the manager on duty, who was armed with a gun of his own, attempted to stop the shooter.
My manager was able to exchange gunfire with him, but of course, you know, he didn't hit him. It kind of ended up as a wild shootout here in the parking lot.
Glenn says the gun violence in Metro Atlanta is getting out of control.
There's just a whole lot of shooting and killing going on, and this was just ridiculous. My heart right now is with my employees.
Tori Cooper.
Yeah, but let me get back to the shooting in Buckhead. So one of the people affected by the shooting who was shot, who's fighting for his life right now, was Chaka Zulu, who I believe is one of Ludacris's managers. Or no, I'm not running for mayor of Atlanta. I listen. I don't go out. I go out to eat, and I take my black butt home. I'll go out to eat. I shop on Amazon. Like, I don't go out. I'll go to the grocery store. I'm in and out. Like, I don't go out in Atlanta anymore. You can't. You cannot, like, nah. You know, back in the day, you know, coming up in Atlanta, going to the strip clubs and the clubs and all that, you can't do it anymore. You cannot do it anymore. Can't do it. Nah, I'm good. No mayor. You could be the mayor. You could be the mayor. But anyways, like I said, if you notice, they are absolutely quiet about this black on black death in Atlanta. But listen, they want Stacey Abrams. All they care about is Stacey Abrams and ending Roe versus Wade. That's all. Deshaun, Buckhead's been dangerous. Negroes ruin Buckhead. And then when white folks wanted to separate from Atlanta, who are in Buckhead and form Buckhead City, it was Negroes complaining, calling them racist. I don't blame them. So this shooting where Chaka Zulu got shot was in Buckhead. Negroes are shooting up Buckhead now. Shooting up Buckhead. Remember the shooting at Fogo de Chao a couple weeks ago? Buckhead. Shooting up Lenox Mall. Buckhead. I think they got metal detectors now at Lenox Mall. Like I said, who would ever think that Greenbrier Mall will be safer than Lenox Mall? Who would ever think that Greenbrier Mall would be safer than Lenox Mall. Negroes are shooting up Buckhead. And then crying about racism. Well, white folks said, look, we want to separate. And my thing is like, listen, I thought you guys wanted to separate from the Trump supporters. I thought you guys wanted to separate from the white racists. Let them go. Let them separate. Remember, Atlanta's the black Mecca. Atlanta is home of all this black wealth. You don't need the racist white people. Again, you don't need the racist white people. You don't need the racist Trump supporters. Let them separate. It was black folks trying to stop the white folks from separating. Again, it was black folks, one that stopped, was begging white folks to not separate. But I'm like, hold on. Let the white racists go. Let the white Trump supporters go. Let them go. They want to separate. Let them separate. Let them have their own city. But it was black folks that was like, no, white folks, you're going to be tethered to us. You ain't going nowhere, white folks. You're going to be tethered to us. They were white black people. When the minute white folks said they was going to separate and form Buckhead City, black folks in Atlanta got spooked. It was like, no. White folks, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. I'm like, let the racist white people go. Let them go. Black folks like, no. You guys stay with us. Y'all ain't going nowhere. But yeah, I don't go to Buckhead. Like I said, I don't do nothing. Like I said, Atlanta's off the chain. Guys, links in the chat room. Yeah, why do you think Keisha Lance Bottom said, I ain't rerunning? Keisha Lance Bottom took a demotion. She worked at CNN, a failing network. Now she's an advisor in the White House, a failing White House. She's an advisor for the Biden administration, we're not going to say failing, a failed administration. That's what she works for now. She worked for a failed network, CNN. Now she's working for a failed administration, the Biden administration. She took a demotion to get away from you Negroes. Black Line, go ahead.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, it's fine. I saw that on top of the Houston shooting. Uncle Phil was talking about how a mother of 6, she died in Houston. She was shot with her and her boyfriend. And the sad part is, you have some very good points. The problem is that, like I said, our community is literally a dysfunctional, poisonous community. We became the exact type of enemy that we were supposed to face against, like I said, against white racism. We became literally the demons that we're supposed to be against. And what's so sad, me and my family and some of my friends, we said this years ago. Gangster culture is gonna damn near bite us in the ass because it's gonna bite us in the ass and destroy our community because the way it was portrayed. I was damn near when I saw the black culture, like when I was like, I'm 28. When I saw, like, I was 13 or 14 years old, I never knew. I saw how toxic it was. The gang banging, the shooting, the sexual exploitation, the smoking, the drugs, the drive-bys. I saw that shit at 13 or 14 years old. I was scared, even especially with a lot of gangster movies were coming out like in the 90s and 2000s. I was scared watching those because this is trauma. Who the hell wants to look at this stuff? And I saw so many people of our community who loved this. That was pretty badass. I understand it was some part of history from African Americans. Point taken. But when I saw that, I was scared. I was like, imagine if people like this show. I can imagine what it's going to do to our community a couple of years from now. Now it's damn near second nature because a lot of us don't want to admit we like this form of dysfunction. Chris Rock himself said it years ago, like I said, in his 90s comedy stand-up, there's going to be a civil war in the black community. There's going to be black people and there's going to be niggas. And it's going to be the niggas that are going to have to go. So when people ask, like you said, about the solution issue, it's damn near, if the way African Americans are right now, it's damn near going to be a civil war. Because the sad, or to that point, if you want to stay in America, of course, it's going to that point. Like when you say you don't go outside and at least enjoy Atlanta, that's a damn shame. That is literally a goddamn shame. And the sad part is, since we live in a culture of ignorance, we don't want to be responsible for our reality. I remember a black woman. She was talking to a Chinese woman years ago. She posted this on Facebook when I still had it. She was talking to a Chinese woman. She asked them, what happens if any Chinese people in her community act the way they do or sell drugs or anything? She literally told her, she literally told them, if everybody in our Chinese community act out or even especially sell drugs, that will destroy our community, because what they've been through in China, they say he will disappear from the community and you'll never see him again.
But Black Lion in Black America, well, white folks do it. I mean, white people shoot too. I mean, white people kill.
Man, it's like that same way my mom used to say, if they fall off a cliff, would you do it? No. Them has nothing. What they do has none of our damn business. What they do with their life and their community is none of our damn business. We got to focus on what we need to do here. But the sad part is, this is what happens if we let gangster culture or nigger culture go too far. Because the sad part is, like we said, we don't provide any form of punishment. And one thing you learn about psychology, if you let misbehavior go out for too long, it's gonna spread like wildfire and it's going to evolve into something worse. It will come in a different form. It can be like a little kid from the playground, be like a school bully. Next thing you know, he becomes a murderer later on because he never had the proper punishment and discipline. We let it so get out of hand to the point where we think it's culture. And no, this is dysfunction. So in a way, there are times where I can't blame gangsters who are in the hood for a bit. They get rich and go to the white suburbs. I can't judge them in a way, because in reality, they want to be in that lifestyle in the first place. It was just survival. And when I saw that about the subway thing, that's how scary it is to play of mayo. If you can lose your life over a goddamn sandwich with some extra mayo, I can imagine what will happen to you if you really try to fix the community. If you just call it out alone. Because the sad part is, we became the exact type of Negroes on the plantation that Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner trying to leave behind. A lot of us, and the thing is, like I told when Colin was here, a lot of us don't want to, but we're descendants of house Negroes who were too scared to leave the plantation, leave Massa. That's why a lot of us, when you talk about leaving Africa or building more, we're descendants of house Negroes who never left the plantation, left Massa, and we pass it on to our children and descendants, and that's what became Black culture in a way. So nothing surprises me the way we actually do, and we deny it. Nothing should surprise us at all. What should surprise us is the fact that we can't use racism like we did in the 60s, because at least in the 60s, we were more well-behaved. We were disciplined. We had love. We had education. We can't use racism as the scapegoat like we used to, because we were in a better state of mind. In this era, we can't. And unless we really get besides the politicians, they're not going to do anything. And the reason, yeah, good point. The reason why they're not the black on black crime is not going to be talked about in the media is because it makes white supremacists easier for them to take our own lives than for them to do it. Because as long as we take our lives, who are we going to march to?
Right, hey, Black Line. Let me, JD, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, go ahead.
JD.
Yeah. Thank you, Dynast. Yeah. So, I mean, I was shocked. The most shocking thing I've seen is that mayo. That mayo story. That's crazy. Like, that's absolutely insane. How can you go to a Subway store just to pick up a sandwich and you get killed over it? Like, this is insanity. I mean, I can't. I mean, I'm lost for words about that. But I was just trying to share the facts about abortion, because I know we talked about abortions and stuff, Roe versus Wade.
Hey, yeah, we're on a different subject, brother.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I can't believe Atlanta is getting to the way it is. Even Buckhead, I heard about that Fogo shooting a couple weeks ago. Is it a month ago now? I mean, it's crazy. A lot of crazy stuff. I think it's pretty much everywhere. I mean, even out in DC, at the malls, everywhere you go, there's just shootings everywhere, and it's out of hand. It's been out of hand for a while, and it's sad because people could do a whole lot more with their lives, but they're just so busy doing stupid stuff. And I think it's high time that everybody looks around and says, we got to fix this problem. It's something that can be fixed. We just have to have the courage to say we got to fix it. And I know, we talk about community outreach and stuff, but the reality is it takes more. It takes more than the outsiders to come in and do the community outreach. See, I don't live in the hood, so I can't go out in the hood and try to help without the help from within.
Nah, they like I said, we want victimhood and excuses. That's what we want. Go ahead, James Walker.
Thanks for having me on, Dynas. I got to give you my Wody. As
what
always.
What up, baby?
What's up, Wody? I'm out driving.
Hold on. Let me serenade you a little bit. Holy, oh yeah, throw soldiers. Throw soldiers.
Hey,
go ahead.
You know what? that fight set off. That song set off a war, but I ain't gonna even talk about that. I just wanted to try.
No, come on, no, not the
that
old
song.
Juicy.
You want me to tell you that song? You want me to really tell you about that?
Not the holy,
yeah, that song. Third Ward Soldiers. That song. I'm from the Third Ward. That song was a song in response to the beef that the 3rd and the 17th had. The neighborhood Lil Wayne from Holly Grove and the 3rd Ward. So it was Carrollton, the 17th and the 3rd Ward had a big falling out. And that's what that song is about. If you listen to the end of that song, when it said Gert Town, Pigeon Town, and Holly Grove, can't fuck with that Melf and that Cali, yo, I told you, them boys don't want beef with that know you. The only block they shouted out was Apple and Eagle, Lil Wayne's block. That's just a quick fact about that song.
Oh, that's how you can tell I'm a soldier. I thought I told you. From a nose.
Cali, yo, yeah. Listen to the end of that song real good. Listen to that song real good. That's what that's about. That set off a war. But nevertheless, I just wanted to chime in on, me and a friend of mine was having a talk about back when I came of age, because I seen somebody in your comment section mentioned about the crack era and bodies was turning up dead every day. I remember back when the crack era hit back in the 80s, the older dudes used to tell everybody go inside. When Miss Johnson and Miss Smith and Mr. Whoever pulled up, they would help them carry their groceries to the house. Everybody knew what they did, but they was very respectful. See that shit about kids getting killed and all that? That was a no-no. You didn't do that. There was certain places you went that you mind your manners. It ain't nowhere safe now. I'm going to say this. I was in Florida last week. I was in Tampa. And I was in this neighborhood called a Fishbowl. If you from Tampa, then you know about the Fishbowl. It was some people that we knew from back there that used to live in Iowa for a couple years. I just looked at the things that went on around there, and I asked myself, how in the hell did I grow up in a neighborhood like this? I mean, looking now, like, I don't know a lot about Atlanta. I've never had this big affinity with Atlanta. I'm just going to be honest. Man, but I always heard the Buckhead was supposed to be one of the safest areas. That Lenox Mall, I never been, but I would always hear about it. Now I'm hearing about shootings in upscale places, and I'm going to tell you what the solution is, Dynas. It's simple. Black folks that want something for themselves will have to learn how to cut people off. Even some of your damn family members. You got to cut them off. Everybody ain't going to be saving. You can't take that crap with you, man. Your friends, your cousins don't want to do the right thing. When you move away, when you go visit them, you go visit them in the damn hood. Don't you bring them to your damn neighborhood?
No, but let me tell you what's happening, Jane. Let me tell you what's happening. So the minute these folks, your cousins, get some money, they want to come to all the upscale places. They want to come to all the nice restaurants. They want to go to Roof Chris. They want to go to Fogo de Chao. All the other little dope boys, trap boys, whatever. They want to go to these nice places in Buckhead, these upscale restaurants, and then they get into it at the restaurants. That's what's going on. So it's like you can't avoid them.
you know what? It's just to the point now. Like you say, you just can't go nowhere. You know what? That whole thing you was talking about black folks wanting to separate from white people. Let me tell you something. That's a big fucking hypocritical lie black folks got to talk about. Because the minute we get some money, we looking for the first white neighborhood we can move to that's peaceful and damn quiet. Nearly full of address that. When he said every time we get money, we want to go into all white neighborhood and then we want to bring black folks with us. When he talked about the concrete jungle, and that's just how it is. At the end of the day, man, you know, I told you I live in Iowa, you know, and I'm gonna be honest. And I've talked to some people about this. I know everybody ain't gonna like what I'm about to say. To an extent, I see why white folks come and check our paperwork when we show up in the damn neighborhood. They watching the damn news. You know what I'm saying? When we show up to the neighborhood, they peeking out the window, or somebody comes out and they ask you, "Oh, how you doing? What's your name? Who you know around here?" Shit, you can't kind of blame them in a way. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yes, sir. Hey, go ahead, Chrissy. Unmute yourself, Chrissy. Go ahead, Chrissy.
Yeah, hi everyone. How you doing? I mean, the stories that you shared are just you get to a point where you don't have any words. It really seems to me that since COVID, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the vaccine. I don't know if the mental health. It's just worse. People have lost their mind in a way I've never seen. Like just frivolous violence for nothing at this level. I can't figure, like, what is it? Something happened within these past 2 years. Yes, there was violence before, but now it's different. I can't figure it out. I cannot figure it out. And as you said, there are no more solutions because everybody has come before us to say solutions. Things happen. Minister Farrakhan is up in his 90. People like, well, where's Farrakhan? Farrakhan been talking for the past 50 years. Before him, Elijah Muhammad was talking for 40 years. Everybody has said what needs to be said, laid out a blueprint on what we need to do. I can't figure it out. I don't know. I don't know if anybody have any idea what is it? The past 2 years, people have lost their mind. I don't know. You know, at this point, I just don't know.
I don't know either. So, go ahead, Skylar. Unmute yourself, Skylar.
Hey, Untitled. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, it's good. You guys can hear me?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was wondering, like, do you know what happened with that lady who killed 3 of her children in Georgia, who set her house on fire? Because I was reading about that, and like that really got to me. Like,
hold on. I would listen. So I'm gonna get to Miss Chantel. I forgot to bring that up. 7 kids set her house on fire, killed 3 of her kids. I think she stabbed all 7. 3 died. Set her house on fire. I forgot to bring that one up.
yeah, I know that's in Georgia too. I saw that. Like a lot of young people are dying. I thought this whole I know you don't talk about Roe v. Wade, but like I feel like that's kind of not a coincidence. Like this whole thing with like killing infants, killing fetuses, and now kids are being killed. I feel like it kind of all like is coming together for some nefarious purpose, pretty much. And you don't see BLM or anything like that. BLM is gone and all that stuff.
BLM only shows up if it's a white man or a police officer pulling.
No, that's not it. Once a Republican come in like Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump, they're gonna come back out. Like all the Democrats, like Angela Rye, all those people that are now in hiding. The moment a Republican comes back, they're gonna come back out crying racism.
Something. You're right, Angela Rye. Been in hiding, the rise up, they're all in hiding right now. Because you know what Biden pretty much told them, like, listen, I ain't got no room for you Negroes. You go deal with the Hispanics. You want to see me? So all the her, Simone Sanders, her ass got booted from the White House, or she moved on. He was like, I don't need you guys anymore. But go ahead.
They know not to bite the white hand that feeds them, which is why they don't criticize Joe Biden. So for the next term, they're all going to be quiet pretty much, and you're not going to hear anything from them. But yeah, so that's that until like a Republican comes back in.
Right, but by the time the Republicans, BLM, they didn't spend all the money up. They live nice in mansions in white neighborhoods, so they chilling.
Yeah, they use black paint. They use black paint to get white gilt, to get green dollars. Pretty much, that's pretty much their entire scheme.
Yeah, yes, sir. Miss Chantel, go ahead and meet yourself.
Hi, everybody on the panel in the chat. Greetings. How y'all doing tonight?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Good. Well, I wanted to say that I really think that it's due to a lot of stuff I think is happening is due to the fact that a lot of people is for themselves. We don't have any unity in our communities anymore. Like, back in the days, how you can, if you needed a cup of sugar, you just send your kid next door across the street. It was no problem whatsoever. We operated like a village. We don't do that anymore, unfortunately. It's every man for himself. And then on top of that, we have a lot of people that's standing by themselves. Like, we have a lot of people that was born without family, not into families. They were raised up as foster kids and stuff, and they're alone. And these people get to the point where that's a terrible feeling, to not have a community or a connection to others, which is your strength. And it's a terrible feeling to have. And so what happens is that, especially the women who have the kids and they end up alone after growing up alone, that can be very, very tiring. And the feeling is just terrible. And so they end up killing their kids and stuff because they have nobody to turn to. They be like, well, hey, they might as well go where I'm going. And I think that's the issue. The issue is, to me, we don't have any more unity amongst us. Every man is for himself, and nobody should be alone. That's a no-no right there. Nobody should be alone. Not the elders, not young single mothers, not single mothers, period, not the fathers. We got to get back to the point where we have unity in the community. And I'm gonna have to say this. I don't think systematic racism can stop you from doing what you need to do, but they most definitely have played a part in dividing our community.
Miss Chantel,
we don't have any brothers reaching out to these young men out there. A lot of those young men don't want to be doing that and living like that, but they have no role models, no mentors, nobody come back and talk to them or anything like that.
Elders are scared. Because even if you see a young person doing something wrong, you're afraid to talk to them because they're gonna chew you out. They're so, a lot of them are so disrespectful. So a lot of the older men, I think, are afraid to talk to the younger men. Some of these younger men will blow their brains out.
And that's
you know what I'm saying?
That's unfortunate because, when I was coming up in New Orleans, I'm from New Orleans too. When I was coming up, they had a lady came. She graduated law school. She came to the high school at Fauché to get some girls together. And I guess she was going to mentor us and stuff. And I was happy to see her. But she got into a confrontation with one of the young pregnant girls that was 16. When we pregnant, we be very emotional. And I learned that at 25 when I got pregnant. I didn't know that when I was young. But when I reflect back, I'm like, wow, that girl was really emotional at the time. She just let loose on the lady. And the lady was like, F it. She never, ever came back. And I was looking for her. And the librarian was like, oh, she's not coming back, honey. And so we have to understand when we go into communities to assist and help who we dealing with. We're dealing with children that, young pregnant mothers, probably. We're dealing with people that's probably being abused at home. You have to know what you're dealing with and be ready to know how to handle those. And you have to also understand you're not going to be able to save everybody, but even if it's one, it is so worthy. You can't be afraid living in this world. And I think that's where we are right now. We are afraid of the children. We're afraid of everything. And it's crazy because the life process is it also equals death. Everybody dies. So what are you being afraid of?
Yeah, Miss Chantel, like the story I brought up, the woman, the woman who stabbed her children, her youngest child was 3 months, and they said because she did it because she was depressed. So I think it was maybe like postpartum depression. Like, is there like things black women go through with postpartum depression that makes them feel they feel the need to inflict harm on their children or anyone else? Can you like explain that, if there's like any things that black women need help with postpartum depression?
Postpartum
I think
depression.
all women. It's not just
Yeah,
a black
yeah.
woman thing. It's worldwide, sweetie. It's all women and all men. When I speak in general because I don't just see black people going through nothing.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Alone.
ma'am.
It's everybody. Child support issues, mama, daddy issues, can't get along issue, killing the wife, killing the children, children killing the parents. Just it's all over the world. It's not a segregated community that's strictly going through it. It's not. It's worldwide. When I lived in Washington and I took my son for misbehaving to the juvie system, when I got there, I was the only black woman. But I saw parents of all different races, a lot of foreigners, who had men with them, daddies there. Yet they got to go to the white man's court to get their children to be civilized. So it's not a black and white thing. It's a people thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Trey, go ahead, Trey Hampton.
All right, man. Thank you for having me on, man. I just want to touch on a few things that I heard, and I definitely validate everything that everybody's saying. But I would say, as far as the violence and the gun violence, it still is chances are extremely low that you will get killed by gunfire, And then I think James Walker had kind of the best advice where you kind of pretty much know who to be around, who not to be around to kind of avoid those situations. And then another thing is I want to touch on what I think.
Okay, Trey. So the situation that happened at the Subway here in Atlanta over too much mayonnaise on a sandwich. And another thing too, the black community is the only community here in America that will downplay and minimize gun violence. It's just the excuses we make for it, like you're doing right now.
I'm saying I've validated everything. I just mean when you look at it statistically, as far as from an intellectual perspective, as far as your likelihood of it happening to you. And then also when you think about who it primarily happens to, we pretty much know it's inflated by O Block and by certain areas and stuff like that when you really dive into it. But I also want to touch on what the guy said about the Chinese lady, and them taking the moral high ground about their community, when it's clear that they run brothels and have an open air drug market and prostitution circuit all across this nation. So when they take the moral high ground, that's just silliness and a way to shame black people when they come here with, it's clear they run sex trafficking, prostitution rings all the time, drug busts, fentanyl, everything. And they sell a lot of guns also. So for her to say that was just a lie. And then also I want to say Amos Wilson and he talks about the black psychology. And when you look at it from they did experiments on mice, when you put mice in overpopulated situations with limited resources, some go insane, some go in the corner and start shaking, some become hyper violent. So when you hear about black people in those areas, which are the equivalent in the human form, getting money and resources and then moving to the white area where there's not economic deprivation caused by systematic white supremacy, it's only logical that you would do that, because who wants to be in an environment where it's proven that's how certain people are going to react? Certain people are going to go crazy, become hyper violent. It's just the trauma we have in our community. It's real. So I understand everything everybody's saying, but we have to look at it from the realistic standpoint also.
Man, we make so many. We've been making the same excuses.
Yeah, we promote it though too.
Too much.
The amount of excuses, TA.
I would say that the other races, they do crime and all that kind of stuff, but I think we have to stop comparing ourselves to other people, because when we do that, yes, we know other groups do that. I don't know if it's a psychological thing. It makes us feel like it's okay. I feel like it makes us on a subconscious level feel like, well, it's not that bad. It's okay.
I was just calling cap on what she said, the Chinese lady. I was just calling cap on her acting like they're so morally superior.
They have more structure.
No, one second, Chrissy. No, again, the point I'm making, the black community in America is the only community on the planet that when it comes to our dysfunction, we blame other people or point to other people. I have not heard this from any other community. When I call out Nigerians, they're like, well, you know what? When I call out Nigerians, I've never heard a Nigerian say, well, man, shoot, they killing each other in Cameroon too. It's only
I
the
didn't say
black
anything
people
about
in
anybody
America
else
that do
killing
that.
each other though.
Are you talking about the brothels and all that kind of stuff?
Only because she acted like she was morally superior to black people and they don't allow crime in their community when they have open
I
air
hear
crime.
you, but you know what? I'm gonna
They
be honest.
don't. They
They probably
don't have
feel
this
a
level
little
of crime in their
morally
communities,
superior
right?
because when they see that our black men, the number one killer of black men is black men. When they see where half of our babies are being aborted, we doing this stuff to ourselves. There's no white man holding a gun to our head. Yes, we know there's trauma and all kind of stuff, but we doing it to ourselves. So she probably do. I can't even knock her. I can't. Because we have to change, but doesn't help when those of us who are educated and have sense and have levels of civilization are making excuses for those of us who don't. We can't.
I was just
keep doing
specifically
it.
addressing her claim that they don't allow drugs and crime.
I hear you, but we can't focus on that because they still doing better than we doing as a group.
I was just
Why did
debunking
that
what she
story?
said.
No, why I said that story. Oh, I'm not saying the trains are better. All I'm saying is when the sister asked that Chinese lady about when she made a post on Facebook, all she said was, "We punish our own." That's what I'm saying. They punish their own. We don't promote that. We don't push that. Like even psychologists say, you want behavior to stop. You gotta give some type of form of punishment. You can't let it go. You can't let an illness get untreated. You have to treat it early, or it's gonna come worse in a whole new shape or form. And that's the problem with our community.
Can I say something? Okay, so when let's just reflect real quick on different racial communities. When white people do things like their children go out and shoot up everybody just for no damn reason, they don't start saying all white boys are terrible people and mass killers. They don't start saying that. You never hear white people say that. What they say is he was disturbed, he was dealing with mental issues, but they do not bunk all white boys together. Yet we know a majority of them are out there committing these mass murders. Okay, you don't hear when it comes to another racial group, when they people out there doing stuff, they turn around and say, well, it's all Indian men, it's all Chinese men. That is not fair. It is not all black men out here behaving like that. They have a lot of decent black men out here. So I think that we need to stop generalizing. They have a lot of decent black women and men out here. We're not all moving the same. So we need to stop generalizing and understand that, you're talking about a particular group of people.
I agree. We all know we're not all like that, but we are. When it comes to murder, when it comes to these hard crimes, we're such a small population and we have exceeded our population number exponentially. When it comes to these things, we have to look at this and be honest with ourselves. You know what? Because those who are, not doing these things, if we cannot be honest and say, yo, we have a real problem, maybe it's a culture thing, it's a community thing, it's a fact, if we're not honest with ourselves, and sometimes truth don't feel good. If we are the only hope, because those who are shooting each other can't help themselves. They can't. So if we at the very bare minimum can't say there's a problem, we have to deal with it. I think the reason the politicians are not dealing with black on black crime because we don't like accountability. We like to talk about what about this one and what about that one and deflect and all that stuff. And they don't want to lose the vote. So they just figure they're going to ignore it the way we do. But we can't afford to be sensitive about these things because our children are losing their lives. Our people are losing their lives.
We must be very careful, Chrissy, because you are saying the exact thing. You are saying that all of our children are criminals.
No, I'm not saying all of our children.
When you speak like that, though, Chrissy, and you don't make a clear distinguish that these are the particular group of men and women we're talking about, then you labeling them all the same. But at the same time, you're talking about our kids aren't safe.
Michelle, we got to stop being so sensitive. I mean, we have to stop being so sensitive. It's clear that Chrissy wasn't labeling all black children, all black people. But again, when it comes to these issues in our community, we got just excuses and unaccountability. I mean, it's just that's what I'm saying. Now, we are very clear that all black people, all black men, and all black children are doing this, but we don't need to give a disclaimer every time when we speak on these issues, and that's part of the problem.
Hey, so Dallas. Oh, sorry,
Go ahead,
Dennis. Sorry, yeah, Dennis. So yeah. I mean, I think we can all understand that we're talking on average, just in general. We can never say all, right? I think it might have been Miss who said that was talking about postpartum depression and all that. The crimes, they happen across color lines in the U.S. But I can tell you for a fact, I don't know anyone or ever had anybody from a country in Africa, a woman that stabbed their kids or drowned their kids. Okay, I just don't know that. It might have happened somewhere, but I'd never heard of that. Okay, and then when you talk about statistics, right? So I'm in Michigan. So I'll tell you this: African Americans, black people here, we represent 14% of the population. Okay, if you look at the data of the people that are in the prison system in Michigan, 46% are blacks. Okay, so 14% of the total population, 46% in the prisons. Now you can argue about sometimes the police, they treat us unfairly, this and that, but still we are overrepresented as a proportion of the population. So somebody can make a general statement that, hey, what's wrong with these people? You know what I mean? And then the other thing I wanted to say also is that when you look at the kids, there's just a general disregard of the law, right? And I know some people that I've said, hey, I can't drive with you because they want to go around drinking and driving. That's I've seen very common. I know a lot of brothers that want to drink and drive, and that is just against the law. And if the policeman stops you, it doesn't matter what happens, the interaction, but it's just basically against the law. You should not drink and drive. So you have nobody to blame if something like that happens, right?
Okay, let me say this real quick on what you just said about the African women not doing that. I'm an African American woman, and so let me explain to you why African women don't do that, because they operating as a family, as a village that help each other. In this country, like I said earlier, we're not operating as a village. It's every woman and man for themselves, and women are stressed out. How would African women deal with it if they were by themselves and had to feed 5 children? They don't know where the father is, and all of that. They would be doing the same thing too.
Okay. I don't know whether they'll do the same thing. Okay, sister, I concede that you said. I do agree that the lack of a father in the house and this, a lot of factors, right, are involved.
No, the fact that you guys operate like a village.
Just Miss Chandra, you said that it happens worldwide. That's why I was saying Africa is part of the world. It happens in the US, but don't say it happens worldwide, because if you say worldwide, you're including all the continents. So that's
I am though.
Yes,
I am. And all you're saying is that
I'm telling you,
I'm trying to explain to you that African women have a support system because they have no reason, they have nothing, they have no other option but to support each other. They're operating like a village, and so they have each other's support. We are divided here because of systematic racism and people telling us we can be individuals, and so therefore we have abandoned communities and family and all of that kind of stuff. That is why women are left alone with children, become stressful and all of that kind of stuff. Nobody should leave women alone with children, whether it be her family. We shouldn't have a bunch of children in a foster system. All of that is because of this individualism mindset. Over in Africa, you guys don't have a choice but to behave like a village or operate like a village, because if not, you know what it be. It's not enough money. You won't survive.
Okay, we agree, Chantal. We do agree. We do agree, and I do know that here in the US, white women, Latino women, I've read instances where they do this. Right, it happens. I was just pushing back a little and saying worldwide, and trying to say that it does not happen in other countries overseas as much as it happens here. But anyway.
Let me push back on what you and Chrissy
and the violence, honey. Come on, the violence of the males in Africa shooting each other up and stuff. Come on.
Yeah, let me push back on what chill 1 second.
You're not being honest.
There's actually in Africa right now, white men, they can actually rent African wives African men are renting their wives to white men in sex tourism. That's one thing. And Chrissy,
Where?
in
Be
Jamaica,
specific. Be
Chrissy, in
specific.
Jamaica,
Be specific. Where? Be specific.
Chrissy,
What
in
country?
Jamaica, their
Be specific.
homicide rate and murder
Listen.
rate and gun violence rate is unreal.
Listen.
It is
You said
unreal. I
Africa.
agree. And guess
You
what? I'm
said
not
Africa.
sensitive
You
about
said
it.
Africa. Now
I
you're
will
talking
not
about
mind.
China.
One mic.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, wait.
It is unreal.
All right, so but the TH once again. Okay, Chrissy.
Jamaica is not in Africa.
Well, Moochie, shut up, Moochie. Shut up. All
Oh
right,
man,
Chrissy.
hey, come on, Tina. Just say keep
No,
quiet.
but
Don't
Moochie,
say shut
but
up. Man.
I said one mic and you're still going. Like I'm gonna start just removing people from the panel. It gets annoying. One mic. So, Chrissy,
Yes.
do you acknowledge that there is black on black crime or a high murder rate in Jamaica?
It is exponentially high in Jamaica.
Okay, now with that being said, do you then pivot to, well, they're killing people? Do Jamaicans pivot
No,
to, well, they're
no.
killing people in Haiti? I mean,
Nope.
look at the crime in Haiti. Do they
And
do
Haiti's
that?
right next door. No, I don't. You know
Yeah,
why? Because if we had that mentality, it'd be worse.
Well, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Black America is the only community that when you call out the violence in the community, they want to point the finger to the white man. They want to point the finger to the genocide of Rwanda. They want to blame this person. They want to blame this group. They want to talk that this group does it too. That group does it. This group does it. White supremacy. This person. That we just full of excuses. Full of excuses. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Dynas, you remember Carla yesterday, and then this is kind of what I'm talking about. Is like when he said, FBA, we do this more out of a reaction from the tone we hear. FBA, we're also the only group.
Is Black, Caribbean, and African getting killed and doing the shooting with all Black people?
FBA is also the only group.
Dynas, what do you think the issue is then, since we're making up excuses?
Unaccountability and excuses. That's the issue.
I want to touch on what Dynas said one time. Dynas, one time I want to say though is like you also can you admit that FBA we're also the only ethnic group that has all these other Black ethnic groups in our own country. We don't go to Jamaica talking like this about Jamaicans. We don't go to Nigeria talking about Nigerians.
Listen, yeah, it's not your country. It's not FBA.
I'm saying meaning like our homeland. We know we've been here.
No. Let me correct you, TH. One mic. FBA had the opportunity to leave America after the Civil War. They refused to stay. All right.
No, this is our country. This is our country.
And TH, I actually don't interrupt me. All right. Then FBA, ADOS chose to integrate into white America. All right. That was a choice. So this idea is my country, is this country? No, it's not your country.
Well, I agree with Frederick Douglass, bro. I agree with Frederick Douglass when he was saying it is, and it's a waste of time to try to get us out of here. But we're the only people who people come to.
So if that's the case, then stop complaining about immigrants coming over. Stop complaining about this group. Stop complaining about that group.
The tone, like Carla said.
At the end of the day, FBA, ADOS, Black America does not control who comes in and out of this country.
And then those immigrants don't control if we push back on them.
When immigrants come to America, the person that stamps their passport or sits down with them for their immigration interview is usually a white person or another immigrant. It's just it's what it is.
And they can't get mad if we push back and say the same thing about their culture. When they shame us, we can shame them.
Nobody's shaming you. I live here. Okay? I live in America.
It's the tone. It's the tone. Paula Genesis said yesterday said this.
It could be immigrants shooting or being shot. It's Black people. You didn't hear me with this live come out about no ethnic group stuff. This is Black people. When I see Black people, I see Black people. We as a Black people are in crisis. So to talk about sensitive and tone is BS. It's Black people, period, who are being shot.
I agree. All around the world. Exactly.
And yes, but we're in America, right? That's where we all live. Here, right here. I don't know what's going on in Malawi. I don't know what's going on in Jamaica.
I thought we were a global community now.
I'm talking about right here where we all live, where we are all at risk, where we can go to apparently go to a subway and get our brains blown out.
So what's your solution, Chrissy? What's the solution? Because all I hear is you guys putting Black Americans down. That's what I hear at least.
Why are you making it a Black American thing?
What is the solution? I'm saying, is there a point to this?
Yes, there is a point to this.
Uh-huh.
We're too damn sensitive.
Okay,
Okay,
no. That's not a solution, Chrissy.
It
Is there a solution to
accountability.
it?
Accountability is the first solution.
Chantel,
Just like an
Chantel.
alcoholic. If you don't recognize you have a problem, you're gonna drink until your liver corrodes.
Who should be held accountable, Chrissy?
I didn't say Black America. I
Okay,
said Black
all of us
people.
on this panel that's Black in America should be held accountable, including
A
Dynast.
level of
All
accountability.
of us.
Yes.
So when you
Yes.
pointing fingers, make sure you talking
Did I
to
point
yourself
fingers?
too.
Did I say Black American?
Because you're
Did
in
I-
America speaking on the ADOS Americans,
But I'm
and
not
you said no,
speaking on
we're all
ADOS
global.
American.
We're here in
Do
America
Caribbean
talking about
people
Black.
live
Well,
here?
hold on one
Do
second. Talking
Africans
about
live
Black
here?
people, period. So what I'm saying is that
Do
we
Caribbean and
all
African
should be
people
held
live here?
accountable, including you, I, Dynasty,
Yes.
and all the
But
rest
guess
of
what? I
you
never
that's
said
pointing out
different.
bad behavior. It's
I never
our
said-
fault.
I
Let
never
me-
said different.
Let me
And
answer
that's what I
that.
would say is a problem. Is this
Yeah, it's your fault, my fault, Dynast's fault. Is all of our fault.
They dance
It ain't
around
my fault.
ethnicity,
It ain't
and
my
then
fault.
it's convenient.
sensitive.
Wait, guys, hold on.
It
That's
ain't,
the problem.
it
That's
ain't
why
my
we're not
fault.
going to
I
go get
definitely think
anywhere.
that's good.
Because
Guys,
at the
hold
end
on.
of the day, it's all Black people. I didn't make no ethnic group distinctions.
Chantel, I think I have
Yes, go.
a bit of a solution, Chantel. I think we all need to do better. And I'll start with the Black man, us as Black men in general. I think Black men have to be there for their families. There is a whole lot of Black men that want to make babies and leave women with babies by themselves. That is totally wrong, okay? Because a lot of these issues are arising from kids that are in single family, single parent households, all right? So the men, if the men really say that we are leaders, most of us as men should be there for our families. We should not be creating babies that we don't look after. And then we say, why are these kids roaming around and committing all these crimes? So I think especially Black men, we need to be responsible for our families. We cannot be making babies and say, oh, the woman is in charge of her body. No, if you're a man, you make a woman pregnant, you should be responsible for that family, for raising those kids. And that's one big difference that I see between here and in Africa. In general, in Africa, the men, we have in Africa there's a lot of men that like to cheat on their wives, and I'm totally against that. And these are brothers from the continent. And with my friends, we talk very frank.
I thought we were talking about Black people in America, though. Because
Yeah,
they got Africans in America that's making babies and abandoning babies left and right in America.
Hold on. It's like what I said. Let me say this. It's like what I said when I first talking to Dynast. The problem, one of the main problems, of course, the issues. I agree with you. Listen. The thing is, in a way, in our community, we promote it. It's right, like I said. There's one thing my mom always told me: you already got 2 strikes against you. You're African American and you're male. You already got white racism on your ass. The last thing you should ever do is make it worse for you than it already is. The problem, like in America, I'll say America. Like for example, China, for example, they banned hip hop. Just a year ago, they banned hip hop. Why? Because the advisors told the main president they literally got advisors seeing the culture of hip hop, and they saw how it was affecting the Chinese community. They started to become less illiterate, horrible grammar, their way of thinking. They couldn't socialize with decent Chinese people. They saw how it was like the culture itself was affecting the Chinese people who like Black culture, and they banned it. Because they saw how the results was. Our community, especially like in everyday Black culture you see on TV, music, media, it doesn't promote family. It doesn't promote happiness. It doesn't promote education. It promotes niggatry and ratchetness. It doesn't promote stability. That's the problem. We promote it so much, and then when some of us do call it out and say we gotta get rid of this crap, it's not healthy for us. The first one to attack us is our own people. Like I remember when WAP from MeKKKA and Cardi B, the WAP video came out. A Black man, a football player who had 2 daughters, he called out the dysfunction and disgustingness of that damn music video. He said, "No, I got 2 daughters. We got to protect this from our children. This is disgusting. This makes Black women look like crap. Makes them look like whores. And I got kids. I got 2 daughters. We can't have this in our community." And the first one to attack him were Black people, especially the women. And he's like, "Why are you attacking me? I'm just saying we got to protect our daughters and our women from this, because this is what they're going to be seeing by the time when they get older." We promote this stuff, and the sad part is we don't love our race enough. I'll say in America, we don't love our race enough to stop it before it gets worse. And there's one thing alcoholic people from Alcoholics Anonymous do say: the best intervention is prevention. and we're not a preventing type of people. We don't see the long-term effects how this corrupted, the dysfunctional culture will lead to us. And look at it now. Think about this. You will have to be a gangster, at least in our community. You got to be a gangster to be killed. Now, you just got to put. Now all you got to do is put too much mayonnaise on a damn sandwich. That's how far we have been gone. And a lot of us were so deep in this sad form of ignorance to a point where when we see the truth for our eyes, like Diane is showing us, we become oblivious to it.
Like Black Line, you think you're about to get killed when you go to Subway? Like you really think that's like how do you feel?
I'm saying the mentality.
This is what we're talking about: excuses and unaccountability. You're missing the point. Go ahead, Lily. Go ahead, Lily. Lily. Go ahead, Lily. Unmute yourself, Lily.
Hey guys, I just wanted to speak on that point on accountability, and I don't remember who said this, but about holding everyone accountable. But I realized that as Black people, generally speaking, we have an issue when it comes to accountability because everything feels like an attack when we're being called out, either, be it positive criticism. Everything will kind of feel like an attack, and we get lost in the sauce of semantics and, saying, be specific about this, and that. In general, all we are saying is that there's a problem. We're just calling out a problem, and being specific, that's like we're trying to distance ourselves from accountability. But from what I understand, in order for things to change, we need to start addressing, these things as adults. And part of being an adult is sometimes, like, being mature is, taking that hit, even though you don't deserve it, just because, for the greater good of things. And I feel like we need to start addressing these issues, like the adults we are, because the specifics of things, like we already know it's not everybody. So, and everyone on this panel, from what I hear, we're all just trying to talk this out and find solutions. So as far as accountability, we have an issue with that. That's a given. I've heard it on the other panels too, like before. So we need to make peace with accountability, because that's the only way we can move forward. Because if we start throwing this what we call shaming, someone said something to do with I guess when people said something about what's happening in America, that Black Americans are being shamed, and necessarily, where do you draw the line between accountability and someone shaming you? Because sometimes, like, I'm an immigrant too. I live in this country, and you live where you live, you're obviously going to criticize the things that's happening in the country, and it's not necessarily coming from a bad place. And if we were all being accountable, or at least trying to change things, and we're not being on the defensive end all the time, we could see eye to eye and at least make a step close towards trying to change things.
Miss Lily, I have a question, honey. Can I address the hoardism in Africa? When there's women in Africa that prostitute.
Oh my God!
Talk about prostitution in Africa, but not in America. How would you feel if I did that?
In Africa, yes, women are selling pussy in
Africa.
Africa.
I know. I want to ask Chrissy. How would I feel? How would she feel if I talked about that, but not the pussy selling in America?
Wait, ask the question again.
How would you feel if I spoke about pussy prostitution selling in your country, but not in America, as though it doesn't happen in America? How would you feel if I address violence of Black men killing each other in your country as though it doesn't happen in America? I think you're going to tell me I need to turn around and look at my own country people. They're doing the same damn thing.
No, listen.
Hold on, Black Line, hold on. But again, Michelle, you're missing the point. Okay,
Can I get in on this?
Judy, let's do this, Judy. Let me just respond, and Judy, I pass it to you, then I pass it to some police. Again, man, Chantel, you're missing the point. We're very aware that Black men kill Black men in other countries, and that punani is being sold. But once again, when I talk to either South Africa, to Ghana, to Nigeria, to Kenya, and we call them out on these issues, not one time have I ever told them, I ever heard them say, well, Dynast, man, you know, we might do, our females might sell the coochie here in Kenya, but they do the Tanzania too. See, they do the Tanzania too. Black Americans are the only people that do that. The only group of people that do this. And that's why I'm just like, look, it's just a lack of accountability and victimhood. We're the only group of people that does it. We're very aware that pee is being sold all over the planet. We get it all over the black world. We're very aware that black men kill black men all over the planet. But again, when you call it out in other countries, they're not pointing the finger at other people. But Miss Judy Jones, go ahead.
That's exactly what Moochie is on.
Oh, Dynast, I wasn't done. I wanted to respond to Miss Chantel really quickly before we move on.
Okay, go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, to your point about you speaking out about prostitution in I'm from Kenya specifically. Now with the kind of mindset I have, I would actually not deflect from that. I would say, yeah, there's a street called Koinange Street, which is very famous for that. Like it's like a prostitution area. So I'm not gonna push back on you and say, oh, the same thing is happening in America, because I mean it is true, prostitution is happening in Kenya, but I will accept and try to see I don't know, try to find solutions to that in like a positive light, because two wrongs don't make it right. Like I think I remember Chrissy said the issue of bringing up something in another, a different place to sort of deflect from the issue, it kind of makes us, it kind of makes it seem like, it's okay. And we kind of get in that place of comfortability, and we feel like because it's happening somewhere else, then it's not too bad. It removes the severity from the situation and the urgency to bring a change or a solution to it. So I'm not where I am mentally now. I'm not going to deflect from that. I'm not going to bring up, oh, what's happening in America, because yeah, two wrongs don't make a right. So yes, that's what I'm going to say to that.
All right, Miss Jones, go ahead, Miss Judy Jones. And another thing, somebody brought up a great point in the chat room as well. And no, Miss Jones, 1 second, and it is yours. And though in Africa and those countries, females who prostitute, they are shamed. Like they are shamed. Here in America, they got a movement. No slut shaming. You can't shame sluts here in America. But go ahead, Judy. Go ahead, Miss Jones.
Yeah, peace to the chat, peace to the panel here. I mean, so many wonderful things have been said. And I agree with the brother about that made the point about the WAP and this. I call it the strip culture. When strip culture went mainstream, I believe that did a lot of damage to our community. And I recall when C. Dolores Tucker, I think she was from your area, from Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and listen, when she came out and said talked bad about gangster music, it was us that shamed her and put her down. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, back in the 80s when she came out hard against it, and she had the vision and able to see that what it was going to do to us in our community as a people. And I remember I was a young girl. I was like, I don't know, my 20s and 30s, and I thought she was crazy and everything, and I didn't appreciate what she said. But now in hindsight, see, that's the beauty of all of this too, as FBA and ADOS people. We can look in hindsight and see what a lot of these freedoms that we had and we took on as a people, what it did to us and the damage that it did. We pushed the envelope for, out of all the Black lineages and groups, we really pushed the envelope for a lot of things, and enjoying and going beyond, for a lot of freedoms. So I look at us as the case study of what not to do for all the other groups. Now, what not to do. Don't give up a lot of your culture and a lot of your values for freedom. Don't do it. And I say that to say because, the whole destruction on how to destroy Black people It's coming to a neighborhood near you. It'll be there in Africa. Biden, when he first got in office, tried to spank the Nigerians about how they treat the alphabet community and what you got to do, So it's coming to a neighborhood near you. But the thing is, the beauty about it, all our other brothers and sisters could look at us and say, okay, do we want to give up all our cultural, what keeps us culturally binded together? Do we want to give all of this up to have freedom, to be able to have freedom to do and dance and music and do what we want to do? And do we really want to give all of that up? Look what happened to our brothers and sisters in America when they did. Look what happened to them. No, so we're going to play the game differently.
I want to just
Hold on. Go ahead, Judy.
I think there's a lot that we need to really think about, than just, and I think when other people point out certain things, I don't take it personal as an FBA ADOS person. I don't, because I know we pushed the envelope. We really went to limits that most other groups did not go. So I personally don't, and we paid a heavy price for that. We have paid a heavy price for it. So now I think we have the opportunity to look back, see what we threw out that we may have needed to keep, and regroup ourselves and get back to, and get back to rebuilding our community. I remember when I was a young girl, my mother used to always try to give me like little wisdom. You used to always have old folks saying. And I remember one thing, my mother, her famous saying that I always kind of challenged her with was, a woman can't do everything a man can do. My mother would say, you could pull up your dress in the middle of the street and urinate. And when you get finished, you will no longer be a woman. And a man can do it, but he'll still be a man. And I used to take issue with that and tell her, no, it's not true. Blah, 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 blah. But in hindsight now, I see what jewels she was trying to drop to me. But I came up in a generation where it was OPP, you know me, where booty calls were accepted. Now booty calls are finally mainstream and finally accepted. But in my mother's generation, it may have occurred, but it wasn't accepted. So in the previous generation, there was a lot of things that may have occurred that was not accepted. We made it fashionable. And at what price? Look at the price we paid to have all sorts of freedoms.
Sim Police, go ahead, Sim Police. Unmute yourself, Sim Police.
First things first, man. Even though you didn't want to let me up at first, you know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna salute your platform, my brother, and the things that you're doing and the things that you're exposing, keeping the people alert to what's going on and how dysfunction and holding people accountable. So, I understand things. I understand how a lot of people looking at things. So, it's when you listen to people like Miss Judy, she tell you that she's FBA or she ADOS, but the difference is you can tell by the conversation, she's not an FBA ADOS mammy. You get what I'm saying? She's not a guard dog for Pookas and Ray Rays. She ain't no guard dog for Latrenda and these wig weed wearing wild hyena hood rats and these thugs running around on ATVs, 3-wheeler, 4-wheeler bike and killing people just anywhere. Now, people want to talk about what happened at the subway. and they want to put it as mayo. But see, they do that intentionally to make black people black people look bad, because they just show that we'll kill each other. The argument started about mayo, but it was a full-fledged argument back and forth. See, the Subway employees, they got bucked because these husky hyenas wanted to argue back and forth. You get what I'm saying? So you got the people that shot them was wrong, but you got the people that work there too, instead of them just walking, leaving off the counter. Because I see it, I go to Subways all over the United States. And if a person is arguing with one of the people at Subway, the white people will walk off the line and just walk in the back. You get what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying they had to do this. But what I'm telling you is that you can, if you see somebody that got the blood of the death of the whatever you want to call it in their eyes, it look like they want to fight and kill about that. You as a Subway employee that's making the minimum of wages should have walked your ass in the back and call the police. You get what I'm saying? See, when you from the street, you get that. Man, nobody interrupt you, mammy, when you was talking. You get what I'm saying? So, but what I'm saying is that before I was interrupted, because nobody interrupted you when you was doing all that mammy babbling and mammy explaining about what's going on everywhere else. When we are the bottom, we're the bottom right here, and the black women and most of these FBA, ADOS mammies in the United States will turn on you at the drop of a dime. When you go to child support, when you go to any job, when you go to any restaurant, the worst service you're gonna get, is from one of these FBA, ADOS mammies that has no respect, that has no morals, they have no accountability, they can't be bargained with. That's just the way it is.
He didn't interrupt you. Go ahead, but he didn't interrupt you.
I didn't interrupt none of that. I didn't interrupt none of that mammy babbling and mammy explaining about what's going on in Africa. Right now, we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom. And you know what I'm saying? And the people, the people, them husky hyenas at the Subway will sit up there arguing back and forth. You know what I'm saying? They all wrong. Don't get me wrong. But if I'm at my job, I ain't finna sit up there and argue about nothing that going with the job. If they want another sandwich, I would have just made another sandwich to get them the hell up out of there. But ain't no way I'm gonna be arguing about the white man's sub $5 foot long. That just don't make no sense. And it don't make no sense for Tyrone and Darrell and them. You get what I'm saying? To want to shoot. But so what they do is they say it was about the mayo. But when you talk to the people that know about it, it was the principle. You get what I'm saying? It was a whole bunch of fuck niggas and pussy niggas and hoe niggas. It was all those words that was exchanged. See, when you just listen to the news and you just listen from what on the outside, it just be like, okay, they didn't put enough mayo on it. Then he pulled out a gun and shoot him. No, it was a 30 to 40 minute argument that was going on in there. They was in there throwing potato chips. They was in there throwing cookies, all type of shit. The people behind the counter was throwing it. So now y'all get the context of what really happened. It wasn't just as simple as mayo. Mayo was what it started about. But with the disrespect between black people to the point that black people just don't like each other. You get what I'm saying? Now I cannot understand why these wild hyena hood rats think somebody supposed to respect them when they can't even sit up, and let somebody else talk. You get what I'm saying? Because you're a mammy. You're a mammy and nobody else. And even let me tell you something. You such of a mammy that you make people like me. You such a mammy that you make people that
if I hear him speaking about
against
black women like you
be for me.
your mammy, your grandmother, your aunts and sisters
you want to bring up You
You
can't
ought to be
no
ashamed of
roll up
yourself,
you
sir.
can't be
You
no
are
black
the ratchet
woman,
who went in
whatever
Subway
that is.
and
You
started cussing those
you
women out,
acting like a
calling them all
mammy,
kind of
you
names,
talking like a
making
mammy,
a
you
whole
got
fight
all the
with a
excuses in the
whole
world,
fight
and you
broke
went to
out
talking
because of
about
your
Africa
nastiness.
when this shit is
You're
going on
nasty.
right here. When
You're
you had the
nasty.
other black mammy FBA,
Listen to
she
you.
just stood up there and just tried to kill 3-4 of her kids and burnt down the
And
house.
black
But
men
some
are
type of
killing
way,
each other and all of that, destroying our
some type of way
neighborhood,
that somebody
being
fought in
deadbeat
Africa,
dads.
Dynast. Some type of way it's got something to do with somebody in Kenya. Some type of way it got something to do with somebody in Jamaica. Everybody wanted to get this ratchet
This is the very
terrorist,
person that went
wretched
in
baby mama
Subway and
terrorist
disrespect
a
those
pass.
women,
And then,
and that's why
then
those
when it
women
all
got
come
crazy.
find out, she was married.
This is not a
Her
man.
husband was
This
at
is not a
Dynast, her
man's
husband was
behavior,
at
sir.
work.
Whoa,
So
whoa,
You're
whoa,
they
not
whoa,
were
whoa,
being
trying
hold
to
on,
get
hold on,
manly.
hold on, simply, whoa, simply, she was married.
she was married.
Oh, but hold on.
She was married. See, they didn't do that at first because the FBA ADOS mammies, they want to give them some type of excuse. But see, I waited till later
Well,
on.
you
And
such a good model for
they
Black
interviewed,
American.
Simply, hold on. So when I was reading the actual article, I was reading the comments. You know what they were saying? Well, see, that's why we gotta legalize abortion.
Right.
Because he had all them kids. She would have
Right.
aborted them. She would have aborted them. She would have killed them. I'm reading these comments like, are you
Right.
serious? I'm like, are you
Dynast,
serious?
do you know how many kids she actually had?
It was 7, right?
She had 7 kids, and her husband was at work. This husky hyena baby mama terrorist was at home all day. And because see that now one thing I get to do credit that was talking earlier, this strip culture, like Miss Judy was saying, this thug character, this thug attributes, whatever going on, and these women outside in the street being super ultra mega thoughts and super ultra mega thoughts in training. These women are sitting at home and like, why can't I go and shake my ass in public? Why I can't get an OnlyFans and make some money? It's open season for hoes. It's just the way that
Can I say
it is.
something?
You get what I'm saying? So
Can I say something?
Yeah, like Sierra twerking in a gas station, man. That dude Russell Williams must look like a fool.
Simply, can I
Come
say
on
one
now.
thing, bro?
Come on now, but
about the
hold
culture.
on. He couldn't say anything. Russell Wilson had to go along with it to keep these mammies on his side, to talk and pat him on the head like a good dog. He had to act like he was okay with it. So if a husband let his woman be out in the street with her ass bent over, then that's a real man. But if a man told her not that his wife not to do something, then that's toxic masculinity. That's why the black race is doomed. We don't take no accountability, and on top of that, black women are the right hand of white supremacy, directly or indirectly. They're the white man's guard dog. They're the white man's German shepherd. Anywhere I go, I get the worst service from black women. I see them damn near bust an ACL and tear a ligament. Got their lips be cracked from smiling at white people and anybody else. When it get to a black man, it's the nigga, it's the frown face, it's the eyebrows up. You can't even tell when the eyebrows up because they paint them motherfuckers on. They don't know how to get a ruler and get a straight line across, you know what I'm saying, to make them straight. You can't even tell. It ain't no solution, hood rat. It ain't no solution.
Hey, simply, let me say one thing, bro.
It ain't no solution.
Simply, let me say one thing.
Even asking about a solution is a deflection.
Now you're laughing at this
It
black
ain't no solution.
American woman.
It ain't no solution.
Police. Claude Anderson said that without. Wait, one second.
This a joke?
Hey, 1 second. Claude Anderson. I'm a big follower of Claude Anderson, and he said a long time ago that without reparations, foundational Black Americans are through. So when you talk about accountability,
reparations is not going to solve this.
Caller, just let me just say one thing without the
problem, bro.
no knee-jerk reaction. No knee-jerk reaction.
It'll just make it worse.
No knee-jerk reaction. Real quick about accountability and reality. When I know it sounds like we're not trying to be accountable when I talk, right? But I'm just saying, Claude Anderson, what he said, I'm in full agreement with him because in this culture we live in, where there are more guns than
he was not talking about the hood rat culture, bro.
Okay, bro,
he was talking about people.
Bro, let me just finish one thing. Let me just finish this.
Building black families, stuff like that.
Caller, let me just finish.
Making good choices.
Caller, let me just finish.
Choices have to be in.
All I'm saying is that he was saying without that, we're through. And when you think about it, as far as like these Cardi B's and these WAPs, all that is horrible culture. I fully agree. That's terrible for our children. But if you think that like in the condition that we're in and the money that they dangle, we're going to, no matter what, we're going to always have a percentage of people that are willing to do anything for that. And to try to like focus on stopping that is going to be so difficult. We can try the best we can.
Well, my whole thing is, bro, is I will do everything at my influence to make sure them type of Negroes never get no money on the backs of my ancestors. That's never going to happen over my dead body.
You're not going to be able to stop that.
Hold on, one mic. I want to play this.
Over my dead body.
Hold on, Miss Judy, 1 second. Miss Judy, I'm sorry. I just want to play this.
I'm sorry.
Hold on one second. Let me. I just want to play this real quick because I need to catch up on this. Okay, yeah, this is the lady that attempted to murder her 7 kids. Hold on 1 second.
Paulding County, a mother is accused of murdering her own children and then setting their home on fire. She has been denied bond.
40-year-old Darlene Brister showed no emotion as the judge made sure she understood her charges during today's hearing. CBS 46's Don Shipman is live at the home where that crime unfolded. And Don, a makeshift memorial is now growing there in front of the home.
It's a heartbreaking story. It's been 3 days and still people are stopping by, dropping off items, building to that memorial. Take a look here. You can see some flowers. You can also see candles and stuffed animals. Just about 10 minutes ago, a woman stopped by with more flowers. This is a quiet community. It's full of cul-de-sacs. The homes are close to each other. Neighbors are still trying to make sense of what happened.
Ordinary family, I guess you'd say, whatever. But
Tom Reykjavik's lives just around the corner from where it all happened Friday night.
they'd come up in the cul-de-sac and go over there. We'd see them time to time.
3 days later, his quiet neighborhood still swarming with police and state arson investigators.
Ms. Brister, if you'll stand, please.
While investigators sifted through evidence at the house, Darlene Brister appeared before a Paulding County court judge, showing no emotion as she answered to the charges of malice murder. The 40-year-old is accused of stabbing 2 of her kids and suspected of setting fire to her Woodwind Drive house, killing 3 of her children and badly injuring 2 more.
You know, I sit here and I'll read or listen to news, all this other stuff that happens around, whatever. And of course, if it happens away from you, you know, you think about it, you know, whatever, you may be concerned, et cetera, like that, but it doesn't hit you, I guess, whatever. But when this is that close. And
in total, 7 children were home with their mother, Darlene, Friday night when police received that 911 call about a domestic disturbance. Witnesses say that they could hear children screaming and saw 2 teens who said that they had just jumped from a back window to escape. Authorities tell CBS 46 by the time first responders got there, they found 2 children already dead, a 9-month-old and a 3-year-old, both with multiple stab wounds. Neighbors say that the family seemed close. They exchanged waves and hellos, went out for walks.
And you just try to figure that out, you know.
It's kind of hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And back here live, the home badly damaged by fire. The back of the house received the most damage. Paramedics rushed 2 other.
Why you didn't play the one with her husband, Dynasty?
Can I say one more thing, Dynasty, before I exit? I have to go. I just want to say this one last thing, and I'm gonna pop off. It was nice talking to you guys, but I think that the issue here is like the police guy just got on a panel and spewed all of that simp police, all that hatred towards Black women. The issue I think it is that Black men are cowards. You're so afraid of the white man and to fight back that you such a coward. You turn around to Black women and say, oh, you destroyed our community. You're destroying us, all because you're cowards. You're too afraid of the white man. And that's simply what it is.
So you don't think nothing was wrong? You don't think there's nothing wrong with Black women in our culture?
You're cowards.
Oh no, hold on, wait, sister. You mean to tell me?
Husky?
You mean to tell me you don't think there's anything?
We're fighting more than you guys. We out here fighting.
No, you're not.
Y'all are.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're out there. You're fighting for abortion. The LGBTQ, Black women. The BLM is the LGBTQ movement.
Worldwide, you're cowards.
For the alphabet.
The only ones
Fight
that
for
fought back
feminism. Fight with.
the rest of
They're
you,
fighting
like
for us.
police, he's a fat, loony coward. And the
College
rest of
Jennison, you
you,
see, even if you
you're
talk white
cowards.
people, man,
That's a
they
You're
fucked up
scared
statement
of
to make.
white
it's a
boys.
trigger, bro.
You're
It
scared
don't
of the
matter if
white
you
boy
talk. It don't matter
thing.
how you talk to
So
them,
you
College.
hide behind black women complaining about black women is the reason why the whole damn community is ruined. You're cowards.
Hey, guys, I got.
And they gonna keep
Can I get
on
in here and
whooping
talk?
your
You
ass
know,
because
talk.
you're
Listen up for an hour.
and
She
shame on your
don't
manly
hear
I thought
nothing,
you. I
man.
thought you was leaving.
You
She don't hear
stand
that.
up and fight back
She got
like
a
you a
one-track
man.
mind.
Brace
She ain't
yourself,
listening.
fool. Brace
She
yourself,
just
fool, while
talking.
you worried about women
Dinah can
and
mute
what they're
her right
wearing
now, and
I
she'll
will
still
say,
be talking.
The white
I
She
will
don't
boys
hear
say,
beat your
anything.
asses. You
you
All right,
know,
foolish
Miss
Miss
coward.
Miss Chantel, Miss Chantel,
You're cowards, and I'm
Miss Chantel.
We finish
Oh, she gone?
But
Okay,
Okay.
you know she
Okay.
came from
Okay.
the Cynthia G, dog. You know it.
Okay. I didn't get a chance to talk. Let me say something. Let me speak a little bit. Okay. Just to start off with what Simply was just saying, right, about the service, right? I don't know if it was like I went to a Taco Bell like a month ago, right? Went inside there. You know, how you have the Taco Bell. Or you can do the machine to order yourself, whatever, at in the lobby. I didn't know. I didn't see this one right there. So I went there. There was a couple of black girls in the back making food, and the one was,
Hey,
"Oh, you can make. You can go ahead and
Kyle,
order yourself." Oh, I just
Kyle, it's like you're mumbling, like it's not coming through, like you're mumbling. Like I don't know what.
okay. Let me speak closer to the thing. So anyway, I went to the thing. I said, "Okay, I'll go ahead and order myself." Right? Like I said, "Okay, no problem." They're busy back there. And then 2 minutes later, so a white lady walked in, and this one girl rushed to the counter, right, with a big ass cheesy smile. I know you can order like that, but I'll go ahead and take your order. I was so hurt and so angry, right? I was dressed nice, had my suit on, and everything like that. Didn't matter. Some old white lady walked in. They were just, oh, we'll get your order. Oh, no problem, man. Blah, blah. I'm like, what the entire fuck? And I was gonna say, but that's true though. So, but not in all cases. Sometimes you go to places, black girls, they think you're nice looking, they'll treat you nice, whatever like that. That happens too. So, but that just reminded me of something. Anyway, what I want to clarify is this: what I said yesterday. So, about like this, I was talking. When I was talking about the tone was like this. Like if you listen to Dynasty shows, majority of African American men, right? If you look at, we had Kevin Samuels on here. We had
Hey,
all
Kyle,
these
you keep
people. People
breaking
act like Kevin Samuels didn't exist. You don't like people like.
Kyle, you keep breaking up. Can you like go to
Yeah,
a different area
you
or
buffering, you buffering,
Okay,
College.
Diane, you know what I'll do? I'll call. Let me go out and come back in. I'm.
Okay, Dinah,
Dinah, I just wanted to say this,
Hold
Dinah.
on, let Judy go ahead, Miss Judy, go ahead.
Okay. Someone said something that I disagreed with when he said we were talking about the music and the effect the music had on the
All right,
community.
Miss Judy, not to cut you off, but you're real low now for some reason.
Okay, let me put my volume up. Yeah, something we were talking about the music, and I have, I guess since I'm the older one here on this panel, I have to sort of be like the historian. And we had celebrities in our communities, like the Diane Carrolls and the Ruby Dees and the James Earl Jones, all took a responsibility for what they did with their craft, how they represented Black people and Black culture. And they would not take on roles or, act in plays or take on movie roles or even those who were in music, like the Barry Whites, if they felt that it would denigrate themselves in our community. They didn't do everything for $1. All money ain't good money. But then previous generations dropped the ball on that, and they did not keep up that kind of sentiment. And they were willing to do whatever they had to do for $1. That's one point I wanted to bring up. The other point I wanted to bring up just now, you touched on something that God, it escapes me. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up, remind people that we did have entertainers and athletes and people who carried that on their back. They carried that whatever I do matters. How I present my community to the world matters. And I'm not just going to do anything and everything for money.
All right, let's do this. Go ahead, Miss Judy. Go ahead and finish. Go ahead.
No, and then we allowed the street culture to come into the rap music and rap games, because behind a lot of these artists were blood managers, crip managers, you know, and they influenced what these artists wrote, sung about, the visuals that they projected out to the world. And then, yeah, to the sister that left, if she's still around, when she was talking, a few thoughts came to my mind. One, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. And two, a nation can rise no higher than this woman. And, you know, she left the stage as like if, unfortunately, the burden is on the Black woman. It is on us. That is our burden, to keep our community up and strong and going. That's our responsibility.
Miss Judy, can I ask you a question, Miss Judy?
Whether we like it or not, that is our responsibility to be out there fighting in the trenches.
Let me ask you a question, Miss Judy, before you jump off.
No, a nation can rise no higher than this woman. Bottom line.
Miss Judy, is it more men or is it more women in this world?
More women.
Is it more women in prison or is more men in prison?
I think it might be more men.
Oh, it's way more men. You get what I'm saying? See, the point that I'm making, and the last question is,
more women, more sperm cells, you know, that are women, female, make it to that egg than men.
I get it. So the third question is, are you eating a peppermint?
Am I what now?
Are you eating a peppermint?
No, I'm eating an icy.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Just want to make it a little light. Just to make it a little light after all day.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
It's hot up here in New York.
Let's do this. Let's pass it to Tendaji. Go ahead, Tendaji. Unmute yourself.
Peace, family. I've been watching for a minute, so everything I'm gonna say might take us back a little bit, but it's all on topic. First, I want to say what Sister Judy Jones came on the first time and said was powerful, and she was addressing, you know, Dolores C. Tucker and all of that, and the way it was back then. And somebody in the chat saying "Cool for 3,000" say, "Oh, Africans don't know nothing about racism." So, with the sister, our elder Miss Judy Jones wasn't even addressing racism; she was addressing problems that we've caused ourselves, and we can use that and get with our brothers and sisters on the continent to help them to prevent some of these issues that we're running into now, because we couldn't see. We didn't. Now we can look back and see, but we couldn't foresee the problems. Now we can get with them and prevent some of these things from happening. Also, I wanted to say, Diners, you attempted to do it yesterday, and you did it today as well. But we got to keep on addressing this victimhood and calling out immediately. I want to give a shout out to Sister Chrissy. I listened yesterday and I've been listening today, and I watched 2 days in a row. People come on here, including my brother Kyler. It's not often that I feel like he's wrong, but he was wrong yesterday. And the two other coons who was on here, TH and what's her name, Chantel, was wrong today. It's like Sister Lily asks, what's the line between accountability and attack? Is no line. These type of people, they don't have a line. As soon as you try to express make for some accountability, especially in the country you living in, they're gonna try to point to, oh, look over there, well, don't talk about us. And this shit crazy. I'm sick of watching this shit. This Sister Christian been on here like giving context and all. It's like Dinah said, it's like they want you to give a disclaimer every time you talk. Like nobody that's not from America, like they can't say nothing, or else you're gonna take it as an attack. That shit got to stop. No disrespect to the sisters, but I expect that type of emotional and sensitivity from women. You know what I'm saying? I expect that, but from men, I can't accept it. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing about the Sister Chantel, wasn't she the one on here talking about stop generalizing? And then her final statements was all this shit about black men. But she was just on here talking about stop. You can't generalize. Try to cut Sister Chrissy off. Oh, you're generalizing. But then her final parting statements was all this general shit about on a black man channel, shit sitting up here talking about black men. You know what I'm saying? And
Black
so
men are
yeah,
cowards. That's what she said.
yeah, and you know, it's now. I thought she was a reasonable sister from the beginning, but I guess I didn't see it. I was gonna try to reason with her, but it ain't no reasoning. You know what I'm saying? Like with sister Chrissy, the brother Moochie brought up a point about what was going on in Africa to let them know, hey, look, we got shit going on out there too. And then she gonna say, well, we ain't talking about Africa. 10 seconds later, she come back and say, somebody else bring up a point. She come back and say, oh, I thought we was talking about black people in America. It's like these people are double-minded and they just want to argue and they don't have no space on these type of platforms. Peace and black power to everybody.
Hey, thanks, Tendaji, for that, man. You know what? I just kept quiet after she said that. I'm trying to give her, say, hey, we also have issues in Africa. And then she says, we're not talking about Africa. And then, like you say, don't generalize, but she talks about black men in general. Anyway,
but that's what you get for sipping. You started sipping, and then she bit your head off.
Let me say two things, and I'm done. Okay. So, Dennis, in terms of men, I want to say, in terms of accountability, right? Okay, I just think it's simple. I'm talking to you about this too. I think we should just use kind of language towards each other. How can we talk about accountability when the way we talk like we don't respect each other? It's important. You can make your points, which can be valid, but let's respect each other. And then two, Dynast, there was a guy, I saw your stream for this morning. I wondered why Black Lion was angry. There was a guy who was like a mixed. And he was talking about bananas, talking about monkeys, and you all were sitting out there about however many people on the panel, and you did not cut him off, Dallas. Dennis. Wait, Dennis.
I kicked them off the panel.
Yeah, you took too long.
Hold on. Hell no, you say something, bro. You don't tell no black man. If you wanna make your channel and you wanna build it up to 106,000, and then you handle it the way you want to handle it, then you gonna handle that. But you don't fuck no.
I'm not talking to you.
Ain't no. Dynast can handle it. Dynast can handle his channel the way he want to handle it. And if you don't like it, you go make your own channel, and then you go over there, and then you sip, and then you talk nice. Then you talk nice the same way it is, but you don't come nowhere. You don't come nowhere in a Pan-African space to try to tell people how they should do what the fuck they want to do. That is some feminine fuck shit. And you deserve what you got. The same way when you start sipping for that Chantel Mammy FBA chick, then she turned around and bit your head. That's what you get for sipping. When you was standing on your own 10 in the beginning, you know what I'm saying? You sit up there and let a female, you sit up there and let a female punk you out. And then at the end of the day, you want to sit up there and tell a black man what he need to do on his channel where he don't build up to 106,000. I don't give a damn if Dynast wouldn't let me come on from the jump. I saw Dynast let the females come up first. But what I'm saying, but I'm glad that he did that because the female showed her true color. I hate it when black men try to tell other black men that built their own business, that built their own audience, that built their own criteria, what they need to do when they ain't doing shit but sipping for black women. My fault, Dynast. My fault, man.
No, you good. FB, go ahead and unmute yourself. FB, go ahead. FB, we can't hear you. You got that Obama phone, FB. We can't hear you.
Wait a minute. Can you hear me now?
That's better. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just sitting over here laughing. I have some thoughts from way back when it was first beginning this show. But in my brief opinion, I feel like I'm sorry, I'm just laughing because I heard a lot of, funny stuff. The fact that we have to get up here and actually have this conversation is just it's indicative of the problem within itself, because one thing you don't see is, other ethnicities and groups really having to get up here and hold these forums, which I feel like we've been having in the Black American community for long, before the internet even began. But ultimately, I want to say that I do feel a lot has to do with the women. because like, for example, I come from a certain environment, with a certain type of upbringing. So I can speak in from my experience and not just theoretically. I feel like a lot definitely does have to do, especially nowadays, with just single mothers. You know what I'm saying? I've had an experience myself with my own mother, and just some of the things that she has done to contribute to the plight of the family just out of spite, and like the lady said, I don't feel like we really can't rise beyond like what women accept, because like even right now, an underlying thing, for example, when women wanted like all the Black power men and men that were just, on a certain track, you see like men reflected that in society and Black men. And now that we're accepting, dudes with the tattoos on their face, the thugs, the drug dealers and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like women are the thermostat. So there is some improvement. But also, there also just needs to be a level of general self-determination, you know what I'm saying, amongst everybody. I feel like there's too many discussions being had surrounding, well, what are the solutions, right? What are the solutions? In my opinion, the solution is start with yourself, and where you are. How hard is it to just, for one, do something with yourself, right? And in terms of just like how the community is, well, a lot of the community, because not all Black Americans are a monolith, but in the hood, for example, you know what I'm saying? You don't really see no success models, right? Unless they are certain street characters and rappers and athletes and stuff like that. You can't just tell people what to do and how to be without being that way yourself, right? So, you know what I'm saying? And how hard is it to just do simple things such as, like, for example, I'm gonna share a little story. I moved out of this place like 2 years ago, and it was a decent place, like it was deers and ducks and it was clean. It wasn't heaven, but it wasn't hell either. One day I saw a bunch of N-words, right? And I laughed with my husband. I was like, oh shoot. I don't know. It seemed like an omen. I don't know what's gonna happen. So next thing you know, the day after they had this like little 4th of July party, when I tell you I went outside, it was plates, cups all on the ground, a plate of, what's that stuff called? Spaghetti salad, ribs, condom, weave, you know what I'm saying? All over the ground. I had never seen this before. Then they started moving in and the neighborhood started shifting. It went from a fairly, clean and decent neighborhood where you've seen some deers and ducks. And next thing you know, it's Hennessy on the ground, diapers in the parking lot where you park your cars, hallways smelling like weed smoke. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how hard is it to just be basic level decent? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's some things that nobody can do for us but ourselves, and it isn't even that hard for everybody to just pick up your trash, for one, in the community. Make your community look nice. Don't be driving down the street bumping everybody's house with your music. You know what I'm saying? Just be a decent person. Like, I feel like that's where it starts, and lastly, I want to say, I'm going to just hop on. I think another issue is that regular Black people like us, right, who are quote unquote interested in the betterment of everyone, we project a lot of our striving for greatness or righteousness or whatever you want to call it. We are too busy projecting it on the people that's not, right? I come from the nostrils of the ghetto. I've seen everything that anybody You know what I'm saying? Like a real live hood movie. And I've seen things, I mean, house being raided by 18, all types of stuff. And one thing I could say is like a lot of these quote unquote hood rats, a lot of them unfortunately do fully enjoy the hood rat life. Like I had a business, I tried to employ my family, paying them equitable, you know what I'm saying? Good money. Like my brother, I was paying $600 per week. He took that, you know what I'm saying? He said that if I paid him a certain amount, he would get out the streets. I paid him a certain amount, he got further in the streets. Okay. So you have some people that you just literally cannot uplift, right? So with that being said, I just take these discussions, to be honest, no disrespect, it's total 1,000% entertainment. You know what I'm saying? 1,000% entertainment. Because you know,
free. Let me go ahead and pass it to go ahead, Colin. Go ahead,
no
Colin.
problem.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about, right? We have these discussions millions of times a day. Black America, African Americans, we know this. So we've been talking about this for generations. We know what we want. We know who's fucking up. We know all this stuff. Like we know all these things in our community. Okay, we know all this stuff, right? What I was talking about yesterday when a guy goes, "Oh, Carl's are sensitive." No, I'm just setting the record straight, right? And I'm basically saying, look, when somebody comes up here and it appears like y'all ain't doing shit, it's like the sister just talking right now. What that does is just erases all the black people, the majority of black people who are doing right and don't like this stuff, and put us as a broad brush. And my point was this, right? I'm gonna give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, a woman in Liberia was arrested for selling her children, right? So they caught her. It was a sting. They tried to sell her children across the border to Sierra Leone, right? Now, I never posted that. I buried that story. Why did I do that, right? One, I love Liberian people. As two, I give them people the benefit of the doubt. I know a lot of Liberians love me and they look up to me. They respect me, right? So basically, even though that was a story, right? Oh, we should talk about this. I'm not going to basically use that story and put it out there in a certain way because I know the Liberians will be hurt by that. But say, oh, you think we're all... No, I'm not saying that. And so I'll let the Liberians talk about their problems, right? It's a problem in Africa. I'll let them address that. I'll point out that I know it, but I'll let them do that, right? Because that's out of respect. But what I'm saying with other people who come here, right? They don't respect the fact that they got people like me who, for years, I tell you, deadly clowns. I'm talking about black behavior. We have people like Kevin Samuels, you know. We have people like the Angry Man. We have people like O'Shea Jackson who talk about black behavior all the time. But all that gets thrown out the door when you guys don't do this. You guys don't do that. Who the hell are you talking about? And that's what I mean by the tone, the disrespectful tone. And it comes from the point of white supremacy, where we as African Americans are the only group of people where people feel that they can just come in our community and just talk about us and everything and don't even recognize that we have gatekeepers in our culture. We have people. You talk to us first before you come and directly talk about the so-called community and everything like that. That's our job, you know? And then you don't take all the benefits of being black, right? And all the accolades, all the things like we created and everything. Then when all the problems come in, oh, that's y'all. Y'all got to do something about that. Y'all got to do something about the problems, you know? But you want all the benefits that comes from black. You want to be in our entertainment. You want to be on HBCUs. You want to be in all our culture. And this is where the stupid asinine ADOS FBA movement is coming from. Because you're giving these people ammunition. That's what I'm talking about. You know? And so you got the Pan-Africans have been reaching out to Africa and the Caribbean saying, let's build this together. But it goes under deaf ears. You know, we don't exist. You want to jump right into the ADOS FBA fight when instead of building alliance with the people like Brother Mumumba and myself that are Pan-Africanists that can really build something, build alliance with the ADOS and FBA will be irrelevant. So when people come in college, you be sensitive. No, I'm just saying that all this stuff is a threat to the Pan-African movement, right? Because this ADOS FBA stuff is growing. It's up to Black America. There's plenty of Black people who are talking about the problems in Black America. But we had Detroit 300, right? Did anybody get behind them? No. You know, Detroit 300. No, everybody like this. You got black men out there. There was a brother of mine in the New Black Panther Party that was killed in Florida a decade ago, right? He was trolling the community, everything like that. Me and him didn't see eye to eye. I said we should have a nation in Africa. He said we should take the South. He was part of the southern states. You know, you remember that? Right? We want to make the southern state New Africa thing, right? I said, nah, man, it's Bill Africa. But man, me and him debate back and forth in spirited debate. I come to find out, man, he got killed by some thug on the street, you know, and that broke my heart, you know. So we're out here doing this stuff, and I'm meeting with people in the community. I'm doing all stuff like this. We're talking to brothers, man. You gotta give this gang like stuff up. I talk to ex-gang members and all stuff like this. But you guys make it seem like we're just all sitting around, the community's going to hell, we don't care, we condoning this stuff. That's what I mean by the tone and the disrespect. Because the people that like to hear, that want to believe that, are the white supremacists trying to destroy us. So when we hear another black person say that, right? And I say to them, say, look, there's a lot of stuff about Africa. I would never say nothing about Nigeria. Like, Nigerians are all over the world doing scams, but I'll never be like this. Don't ever talk about, when it comes down to this, those are my Nigerian brothers. Yeah, there's some Nigerians fucking up or not, but I'll never tell Nigerians that you guys got to do something about this or that. They can't do anything about the Nigerian criminals, right? You got to believe in their heart and give them the benefit of that. The majority of Nigerians are decent people, and they're brothers and sisters like you are. And what I'm saying is that when it comes to black African Americans, we want the same respect. You know, give us the same respect that we give you. We're not gonna put your business all over the streets. We're not gonna. You don't see any black news media exploiting the crime or whatever, child spots in Africa. We don't do that. You know, we don't do that. But it seems like every time when people have the opportunity to take shots at the whole entire black community by a few people that's fucking up, they take the shot. And that's what the problem is. They make it seem like we don't care. We're just so we're making excuses. We don't count. What the hell are you talking about? You got people out there. I know people that risk their lives, go out there every day in the community, right, and get killed in all time, basically trying to do stuff for the community. You know, got my boy Cute Butter. You got people putting their lives on the line every freaking day, and you make it sound like, oh, we're not doing nothing. You don't take accountability. You know, and black people are out there doing the things. You know, I got my friends in the New Black Panther Party and all stuff like that. They're doing stuff in the community. You know, but to make it sound like, oh, we're not taking no accountability. We want excuses. You know, that's the white people talking. And you're talking
hey, Kyle, we got Lumumba. Go ahead, brother. Lumumba, go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate the conversation. I just want to say I appreciate you letting me tap in once again. I just want to say that this is your barbecue. It tastes good, and I would never have the audacity or the temerity to tell you how to run your show. So I just want to put that out there. Once again, I appreciate you letting me be part of this. So I just wanted to speak to something I saw in the comments and something that Brother Genesis kind of spoke to. That I think people oftentimes when they make the allegation that, you know, the African community isn't doing enough, I think it's important that we put that in a historical context. And that context is that in Black history in America, whenever there has been real or perceived racial progress in America, it's been followed by a period of racial retrenchment. So I'm gonna give some examples. After the Civil War, we had We had Reconstruction. Reconstruction was followed by what? The First Nadir, right? We had the Civil Rights Black Power movement that was followed by what? Law and Order. And then last but not least, we had what? The unprecedented, successful campaign for president by Barack Obama that was followed by a rise in white nationalist hate groups. So I think it's very important that people understand that we're living in a situation in which the empire strikes back. This has happened even throughout the African world, in the Caribbean, and even on the continent, where you had the rise of Black independence movements and colonialism ended. What did white folk do in Europe? They responded back with neocolonialism. They responded back with structural adjustment. They responded back in a multitude of ways to undermine Black progress. So I think we have to understand that historically, globally, whenever there's been any kind of real or perceived Black progress, it's been followed by periods of racial retrenchment. I think that's why we have to understand that we're always fighting the good fight, as I would like to say, when it comes to trying to overcome obstacles and issues that we have, not only externally, but also internally as well.
Exactly. It's an ongoing thing. And I'm saying like this, people think, oh yeah, just get your education, get your degree and everything. I study hard. That don't mean anything. You're still fighting a war. Ultimately, the bottom line is the white people got most of the freaking wealth, the opportunity. They make 99% of the decisions in this country. There was a thing the other day where a black woman had a black name. She said she was African American. She had all the master's degree, everything like that. Put out 900 applications, didn't get one call back. She changed her racial category, right, to white. And it was a IT firm, whatever like that, right? She put white. She got 9 calls in one day. This is stuff we're still going through right now. People, oh, excuses. No, I'm tired of people making excuses for the racists in this country. who still got everything. We're sitting there fighting with black immigrants and whatnot, fighting with us, stuff like that. We're saying that it's the people that's always gonna pioneer all this stuff. When everybody else comes behind, it's gonna be African Americans. We're the ones that's gonna fight the fight. We're the ones gonna challenge. We're gonna be the first to get those contracts. We're gonna be the first to penetrate this industry. We're gonna be the first to do this, and everybody else comes behind us, right? But everybody else want to come behind us, whispering in our ear, cackling, blah blah, what y'all not doing. It just gets annoying after a while. And we try to talk Pan-African, and I tell a lot of my people in the Pan-African movement, they get tired of me always bashing black America. There's nobody that tells Black America more than College Genesis. Everybody knows that, right? But like I said, yesterday, I just got to the point where it's almost like saying that everything I've done over the years, right? Everything I've done, right, means nothing. Because what you're going to do is take your own thing and make it seem like we're Black America just irredeemable, stupid. We're just lazy, all stuff like that. And look at my family, right? 3 of my cousins. My first cousin is a school principal in Harlem on the school board. I got 2 other young cousins that are school teachers. I got doctors. I got everybody. I'm around stuff, and they watch these shows. I'm not gonna sit here and disparage everybody. I'm gonna say, yeah, we got a certain segment of our community that needs our help, and these still are our people. You're still our people. We got to, like I said, we have to have a way how to. We decided that we want to integrate in America. That took all the role models out of our community and everything. So people are on their own. They have nobody to look up to. They have nobody in their lives and everything. They got nobody as a Black doctor to say, look, I can get you in this apprenticeship program and everything. So people are on their own. And so what they're listening to is the garbage the white man puts on the radio every day. Death, destruction, kill this nigga, kill this nigga, kill this nigga. And this is what you have. And we're not the ones funding this stuff like that. If you ask the average Black person, if you would tomorrow replace all this garbage music and culture with Afrobeats and Afrocentric, Black people will like it. They'll like this. They'll say, okay, we rock with this. But there's a reason why you see all the deaths. There's a reason why you have Power. What's the other show? Black Mafia Family and all these stuff like that. Why?
Or just go with that strip club show called P Valley, Pleasant Valley.
That's what they're pushing on us, right? So therefore, even though the slight majority of us won't fall for that, the Black people who do that are the most visible. They're the ones out there twerking, doing something, and it's destructive. It's destructive. So if you got 20% of Black people that fuck it up, they're so loud and so destructive, it casts on all of us.
All right, let's do this, Carla. Chrissy, go ahead, Chrissy. You've been crowd over there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I have a question. So, how we're talking about the conversation we've been talking about today, Kyle, I have a question for you. So TH was here earlier, Miss Chantel was here earlier, and I think me and somebody else were talking about what's going on. Then they started saying, oh, you're putting down Black America, all that kind of stuff. If I'm a Black person, which I'm a Black person, I live in America, right? I live among Black people. Are you saying that if you are an immigrant and live in America, and things are happening in the America where you live amongst Black people, that you should not have a right?
I'm not saying that. I said just the opposite. If like my brother Bomani, my partner, he's Jamaican, right? That's the guy I'm going to Liberia with. He's Tory White. He's Jamaican. That's my brother right there. Him and I can talk. We could talk about Black people. I don't say that, right? I'm saying the fact that I know the difference between somebody like Bomani, right, who's born in Jamaica but raised in Brooklyn around Black people, right, and then Negropeans, right, who basically have white people talking points, white people's way of thinking, whatnot, and they around Black people, but they put out these shots and everything to distance themselves. Like this, the problems in Black America, right? We can all look at it and say, look, there's some people are messed up. But when you basically try to say your culture is the reason why I'm doing so well, everything, and Black people ain't shit, that's distancing yourself from the people, but basically being Black when it's to your convenience. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I meant by the tone.
It's a difference between slick dissing and telling the truth. I get what Carla's saying. Some people they'll play up under you so they can slick diss. They can throw little subtle jabs. But it's a difference with somebody like you, Miss Chrissy, that live, breathe.
I wasn't talking about her, but that other one that was on.
No, I got you. I'm saying that we speak in the same linguity. So what I'm saying is that what Carla's saying is that you have certain immigrants that just come up under the slick disc. The same way that Chantel Mammy, FBA Mammy chick, she came on. You can I heard it even when she first jumped on with those Cynthia G, black men are conquered
Hood rat,
talking points.
hood rat
You
culture.
just it just took it. I knew I had to bring it out of her. You get what I'm saying? Because first it started with mansplaining, and then it turned into the shame insults and the need to be right. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do. But while everybody else, see, one thing about it, Miss Chrissy, is the internet FBA, if you listen to that, then you can't say nothing for or against a black person because you got foreigners in your lineage, right? That's some internet stuff. I tell people every time I come on this show, I go all over the United States. Nobody knows, black people don't know who FBA and ADOS is.
Right.
It's an internet movement. The average person you walk up to and just ask them, what is FBA, ADOS? They have no idea what you talk about. They couldn't even guess the acronyms if you gave them $1,000. They're just some internet shit. You get what I'm saying? See, when people's in the chat, they was talking about what's going on, what Pan-African is doing. We're capitalists. You get what I'm saying? Because if you go in these neighborhoods and try to fight against these Democrat protected cities like Baltimore, Atlanta, Miami, all these major cities with these major thugs and with majority thugs in there, they are not that they're protected by the Democrat Party, they are babysitted by the Democrat Party. Now, once the thug go to jail, they don't care. But long as the thug is on the street, you know what I'm saying, and Latrinda is on the street right there with him, those are the 90% guaranteed votes for the Democrat Party. Now, once they go to prison, they don't care anymore. But they will use the thug. They will use the super ultra mega thought while she's on the streets because she's 99.9% gonna vote for the Democrat Party. They don't care. They just gonna put a couple of extra dollars on her EBT card, and hell, he got an EBT card too. So they're in an EBT relationship. You get what I'm saying? They got them smack their EBT cards together before they walk in the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Well, who gonna get the food? Who gonna use their food stamps today? So what I'm saying is, in our community, that type of degenerate behavior is up close and personal. The people that's conducting business, like me, Colin, Dynast, Brandon, whatever, you know what I'm saying? We can go back in the hood, but at the end of the day, if we're not there to give away something, if Dynast ain't giving away something free, if Colin ain't giving away free, and me as a reformed street nigga, I can talk to my homeboys all day, you know what I'm saying, about opening up a business. The first thing they're gonna ask me, hey bro, you still got that work? If I ain't finna give them no work or plug them into somebody got no work, they're not with it, because in our community, dysfunction sells. You know what I'm saying? Dysfunction is cash, money, records in the hood, and they're not gonna allow anybody. And the last point before I pass the mic, I remember we had this thing going on in Techwood. It was called, the people in the church, it used to be called Up with Hope, Down with Dope. You know what I'm saying? I'll be the first one to tell you, we were shooting at them people in the church. Right, we weren't shooting at them, but we were shooting while they were sitting over there marching, so they can hurry up and get up out of there, so we can get back to selling the dope. You get what I'm saying? Because they didn't say nothing to the drug dealers. They was trying to talk to the crackheads, and we couldn't let them take the crackheads to take our money up, because that's how we paid for the trap. And then the funny part is, the traps, the houses, the rent is like $1,200-$1,500 a month for a shack. You get what I'm saying? We throw up bars on the door. We throw up bars on the window. We got 6 or 7 guns in there, and we are there to promote this function, to kill, steal, and destroy. And anybody got something to say different about that, you are the enemy. That's just how it is, and ain't nothing gonna change. So you can't go back in the hood and talk to them because they are thriving in that. And that's the one thing that we as black people, we don't thrive in the black community. We survive. But the hood niggas, they thrive in the neighborhoods until they go to jail, until they get killed. And I pass the mic.
Hey yo, check it out.
Hold on. Let's pass it to Lumumba, and then Lumumba, after you, we're gonna close out. Go ahead, Lumumba.
Okay, I appreciate it. Well, I just want to say before I get started, my closing statement for the session, that one, today is the 103rd anniversary of Marcus Garvey creating the Black Star steamship line. So I want to show some love to Marcus Garvey. Second, today is the 150th birthday of the world's first well-renowned African-American poet and novelist from my hometown, Dayton, Ohio, Paul Laurence Dunbar. So just want to give a little Black history tidbit. But I think there's a number of issues here. I saw in the chat people talked about many people accept reparations. Many people do advocate that African Americans are a distinct ethnic group of African people, but it's the xenophobia that they take issue with. But I think one of the issues that I see a lot in the Black community, even from people who proclaim to be a member of Black consciousness or the Black radical tradition of audacious self-assertion, is that there tends to be a focus more on external issues rather than internal. And we know it's very easy, as Malcolm X stated, to point the finger at everyone else. But even Malcolm X talked about that one of the major goals we have to focus on in the Black community is the racially disempowering, self-defeating, and self-destructive ways that we live our daily lives. So I'm going to give some examples of that. One, I would argue, is unfortunately is the belief that somehow being educated or speaking in an articulate manner is acting white. We know that historically this was not the case in the Black community, and that this came at the intersection of integration, the breakdown of the Black family, and of course the removal or of what conservative values. We know in the Black community, our politics was always progressive, but our values were always conservative. So I think that's a major issue. Another issue that we find in our community is the belief, particularly among young Black men, that turning to criminality is an acceptable way of solving financial problems. That's an issue as well that was oftentimes becoming the brick and mortar of the carceral state. So, and I think third is the acceptance of and promotion of criminal behavior as something that is cool, that means that you're down and socially acceptable. So I think there's a number of issues internally that we can look at. I think oftentimes when the people are having debates with ADOS or FBA and of course African and Caribbean immigrants, they talk about, well, look what's going on in your country, look what's going on in America. When the reality of the situation, we are under a global system of racism and white supremacy. And the reality is, in my opinion, of course I can have scholarship to back this up, but in my opinion, we're facing the same issues no matter where we are.
Yep.
Right. And I think part of us missing the boat and talking past each other is that we're not realizing that the oppression that we're facing, the economic exploitation, the political disenfranchisement, the social degradation that we're facing no matter where we are in the world is linked to a global system of white hegemony that seeks to dehumanize and ultimately destroy Black life throughout the world.
And I want to add to that, brother. Like simply just saying just a minute ago, right? He said these guys in the community, right, that's doing this fuck shit. They got not only that, they got the radio, they got the culture, they got some of the community behind them, right? So when people, and we know this, right? We're like, damn, our community's hijacked. These criminals, the thug, that culture and everything like that is dominating certain areas of Black America. My problem, I'm saying, is this though. We all know that. Simply knows that. You know that, and everything like that. And we talk about that. And here's the thing. I want everyone to leave with this, right? Like Simply was just saying, it's a Democratic Party, right, who enables all this, right? Now, a lot of our Black immigrant brothers and sisters, let's be honest with you, they love the Democrats, right? Right? And we're trying to say, look, the Democrat Party with their socialism, their welfare and everything is destroying Black America, right? But the Democrats, oh, no, you guys can't vote Republican. You can't do Trump and everything. Well, wait a minute here. If we go with Trump and whatnot, a lot of this stuff will disappear. The $500 billion would solve a lot of problems. But the thing is, they're like, no, because if Trump, the Republicans get in power, they always tell me all the time, well, they might deport us. I got family I got to get in here. So therefore, they can't have it both ways. You know, we're saying, okay, a good problem. Let's vote the other side. And I'm no Republican, but I'm saying, well, when you're cornered, you do anything you want, you have to do. We'll say, okay, $500 billion, let's do what we're going to do. Hey, what will happen? The GOP takes power or not? Right away, the policies of towards Jamaica and these other countries are going to change. But Black America would improve. But what we did was, no, we can't do that. We got to think about our brothers and sisters in Africa. He called these countries shithole countries and everything. We're looking out for them, right? And then they always talk about how we're not doing it. We everything we do is for somebody else. And so I'm saying to myself, if we would have went for Trump or not, yeah, U.S. foreign policy and everything like that, the visas, the lottery visas, all that stuff would have went away. But we stuck with you because we want you guys really to come over here. We consider you one of us. You add to our numbers. But when they come over here, they're like, oh, yeah, you guys should be doing this. You guys do that. You guys be doing this. And I'm saying to myself, slow the heck down. Do you even understand what we just did this last election? We basically sacrificed $500 billion, $500 billion fused into the black community just to protect you guys. Just because he said your country was a shithole country. Just because of all this.
No, they didn't do. They voted. I don't.
No,
believe that.
A lot of people told me one of the reasons why they didn't like Trump because his tone and he called these countries shithole countries. And I'm saying to myself, a lot of people aren't even Pan-Africans. They're like, yeah, but he called black countries shithole countries. And I'm saying, what country are you talking about? He was talking about black countries, you know? And I'm saying to myself, okay, that's legitimate. You don't like him because he called shithole countries, right? All right, and that was a sentiment among a lot of black people. They don't know nothing about.
No. But the issue with that argument is then when you followed up, well, Obama bombed Libya.
They don't see that.
You know, they're completely over their head.
They don't see that. And Obama bombed Libya. He put sanctions on Zimbabwe. That goes out the door. The bottom line is, Trump was the orange man. You know, he had to go and everything. Obama was the one who built the cages for the immigrants, you know, but that goes out the door. Black people said, no, we want Trump out of here because look what he's doing to Mexicans. Look what he's doing to.
Let's do this. Let's pass it to Chrissy. Then we're going to close. Go ahead, Chrissy. Then we're going to close out. Go ahead, Chrissy.
That one, normally I agree with you, Carla, but I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one because historically, in recent history, Black America has been tied to the very loyal to the Democratic Party.
Not really.
Nothing to do. I mean, they've been voting the Democrat, you know, Democrat or nothing, you know, what they said.
Since the 1930s, since the New Deal. Since the New Deal, African Americans started voting heavily Democrat after the New Deal.
I wouldn't say that it was out of.
That's when black people became Democrat.
Okay, so since 64, right? Since 60, one thing the Democrat feel like they can depend on Black America to vote for them, regardless of if they do anything or not. Maybe there were a few people who felt that way, but before Trump said that, people had issues with Trump, you know, and you have to also admit that the media has been very skewed, you know, against Trump as well, which helped to push, you know, kind of like this mob mentality where he's concerned. I'm not saying I'm like, oh, I'm all into Trump, whatever, but I know unbalanced journalism when I see it, you know, so that is part of the problem as well. So I wouldn't say that, you know, people feel that way because look at Biden. Biden had Haitians, which for me is unforgivable. Not even, at least Trump had people Mexicans in facilities. Biden had Black people under a bridge like they were livestock and shipped them back to Haiti before you could swallow.
Let me ask you a question.
And I don't see any.
Let me ask you a question, right?
People are complaining.
What group of people basically? And I don't like Al Sharpton and these people, but give them credit. What group of people were the most angry about that Haitian situation in America?
They didn't get angry until they got called out on it, Carla. Isn't like the minute it happened.
I don't know. Maybe
until Black people start saying
on social media.
On social media, I saw a lot of
Black
people saying, "Hold your own nuts."
We're angry about that. Why? Because we see ourselves, right? Those are us under the bridge. You know, those are Haitians. Those are.
Maybe I was on the other side of social media, but I saw a lot of people in the FBI.
Hey, Callie, I agree with you 99.9% of the time, but online, it was a few, so they got called down. It was Black people online talking about they better hold their own nuts. You know what I'm saying? That's what they were saying till they get. But hold on, dog. But both of y'all can be right at the same time. When they start getting called out, that's when Black people start saying it. They was trying to compare it because a news organization they compared it to with the Mexican when they showed that white dude on that horse like he was wrangling him a pig, you know what I'm saying? And when it got on Shade Room, when it got on all those and they tried to put it on CNN, when CNN told Black people so they could get outraged about it, that's when they got outraged about it. But in the beginning, they were talking about hold their own nuts, and Black people always carry body heat. So why would they be sending? You get what I'm saying? None of the stuff was put out for those for those Haitians. You get what I'm saying?
We're gonna close out, but like I said, Colin, until CNN and MSNBC gave
Yep.
black people permission to be outraged. That's
Right,
when
but you know, but
AOC
hold
and
on, but
Maxine Waters and all them
Dynast,
started
let's
getting
say this,
outraged.
right? That was CNN, that was ADOS, FBA nonsense. But you know how I felt about that, right?
Yeah, but that's us. That's just we're very, very, very small. But the majority of black people didn't care until, because you know they can't speak ill about Joe Biden, anything he does. So they didn't want to incriminate him. So until MSNBC and CNN gave them permission, then all of a sudden, you know, Maxine Waters and everybody else, they wouldn't show up to the border. So that's whatever. But
Hey,
hey, everyone,
last thing on that point, just I swear it's gonna be 1 minute. And if y'all notice how they let the Latinos, they put the Latinos on buses and let them go with families, and they can show back up to court. But they but the Haitians, they sent them back immediately. And all these Haitians,
Afghanistan's in right around the same time. They brought Afghanis in.
And I
black
know
people mad
people
about
in
that.
Haiti. I know people in Haiti, and I can tell you from what I was told that there were mothers who are giving their children to the police station because they didn't have anything. They were each were given $15. Biden said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do something," and you know that fell just like every other promise he made. That fell through. Nothing happened. Some of the people on those planes, they were told they were going to Miami. Once they opened the door, as soon as they opened the door, they quickly. A lot of the men were like, "Wait, this is Haiti," and they tried to get on the plane, and it was so disrespectful.
And
It
the
was
bottom
racist.
line is this. Now, whether that translates to votes against Biden, I don't know. But you have to know the people, a lot of our Caribbean and people understand when they come for your country, they're going to, like in 95, in 96, they tried to, Bill Clinton, had it not been for Monica Lewinsky, he would have came for Nigeria. We would have had a war with Nigeria had it not been for the Monica Lewinsky situation. People don't remember that, you know? The whole Ken Saro-Wiwa.
oh, I remember that.
You remember that, you know?
Yeah,
So
that was I'm old.
America. It was Black America who said, "Hell no, you better not." You know, my brother.
All right, but hey guys, let's go ahead and close out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty, such a Peace.
We gone.